Alrighty, guys, what's going on? This is like one half endure, and I had to change it a little bit, but this it's been a long time since I did an end cast, so I have to say I'm happy that I have all my guests here to talk about some of the topics we have, and later on we could just shoot the breeze and talk random stuff. So that's why I did end cast slash random talks. So with that said, I have of course um he muted himself really. So Lisa Kanushi Bamanito, how you doing, Kanoshi?
Inoshi?
Oh, Kanoshi. Yeah. And I have of course I have Pinky Don. What's going on, Pink?
Hey,
I have
doing
the
fine, though I feel a bit exhausted at the moment from the
yeah.
last podcast.
Oh. Okay, yeah, can you go with Mr. Red Fox. Of course I have the illustrious Mr. Red Fox on Base Buster. How you doing, Red? Look like everybody is quiet about stuff. Well, I also a game idea guy, but like I said, we're gonna um talk about stuff. So let's just get it out of the room.
Well,
Okay. I got Andre and I got and I got Red Fox. Okay.
No, I was here. I was about to talk to you.
I
but his
oh,
daughter distracted him.
see the meat. I got mute stuff on there, so I ain't nothing.
I was being quiet to wait to jump in because I didn't want to be rude.
I got to what we got Red Fox, Judy Don, Konishi Abominito, and the game idea guys. You guys, these guys from the channel. So let's talk about some topics, and I'm gonna say it'll be a random at a point. So the first one is, which is the one we just literally just started. So let's just get let's mark it off the list. And I also gotta find these videos so I can put it on our screen so you guys can see it. But this one we could talk about. All right, so
The toilet upstairs.
let's talk about the So I already have my opinions about it. I already share it. So you guys talk about the whole thing that's going on with the ROM site. So we just get that one out of. We talked about it just a couple of seconds ago
Oh yeah, the
on
one with
video.
Nintendo winning a lawsuit.
Yeah. So like I said, like I said, Reddy said something about anything. I said we might disagree, but I'll listen to it in some cases. So go ahead. I'll let you see your opinions on here.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this, and I know people are gonna disagree, but I don't care.
Oh yeah.
Like
What's
here's
the
the thing:
topic?
if
Sorry, I had to step away.
like everyone, okay, like Nintendo, people are saying this is because Nintendo is protecting their IPs. Here's the problem with that statement: is if Nintendo actually cared about protecting their IPs in terms of like ROMs and stuff like that, like these ROM sites have been online for like 10, 15 years, like in some cases longer. So
Okay.
if they cared about it, they would have done something about it 10 or 15 years ago.
I got a question for you. How you know that they've been doing it for so long?
What?
How do you know that they won't be the lawyers have not been trying to stop these for a long time?
Well, because typically speaking, when you have something going on for that long, there would have been more, like you would have heard from the people. Well, they sent us an injunction letter, because typically when there's copyright infringement, the first thing they do is they send an injunction letter. The reason I know this is because when I did a volunteer semester abroad, and we basically were using, without permission, um, uh, characters from Theodore Geisel's books in various schools. The first thing they did was send an injunction letter saying, "Look, you need to stop doing this before they sue you." That's the first thing they do. That's typical operating procedure for that type of stuff. Now, typically speaking, when that happens, then if you do it again, then and I mean, like it's on the internet. It's clearly easy to find out if you're still, downloading stuff, sending that type of thing, because it's the internet, and if you put something on the internet, it's there practically forever. They can find it. It's there. So, I mean, I like, well, I don't have any concrete proof, just knowing how basically how, I mean, and it's not like the people that were being sued had this massive, multi-million-dollar, big budget K Street lobbying law firm behind them, holding it up in court for 10 or 15 years. No. What this is about is that Nintendo's got their Nintendo Online going on, and they want to basically they went after the most visible group, so that basically if you want to play their old games, you got to go through them.
Yeah, because
there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing innately wrong with that. But I mean, I find it laughable that people are like, well, it's about IP protection. If it was about IP protection, they would have been sued 10 years ago. Because I remember, not exactly this site, but I remember like 10, 15 years ago when the NES and SNES emulation scenes were starting to get because they'd finally gotten emulators that could work relatively well with that hardware. And they were getting big, and they didn't say shit back then. But now that they have it online so that you can play these old games, that if you're like a hardcore Nintendo fan like me, you either have these physically or digitally or both. But now they want to rent them to you for $20 a year. And now they're like, well, we can't have people downloading these digitally without giving us a cut. I'm like, I think it's about money. I don't think it's about IP protection or anything like that. This is about you wanting people to use your online service. And look, it's their prerogative, it's their IP, but it's not.
Got you.
It's not about it's disingenuous to present it as, well, we just didn't want people devaluing our IP. Like those people who were using Mario, like in Japan, who were using the Mario Kart to promote
Mario
their kart racing. Yeah. Okay. Fine.
The Kart Tour.
That's okay. That's IP. That's IP protection. Or that guy, or those people who made the Pokemon Go knockoff that got sued by the Pokemon company. Okay, that's IP protection. This shit's about, they want you, if you want to play old Nintendo games, you got to go through them. The problem is that their online is kind of piss poor right now in terms of their online library. So,
and perhaps another part of the reason is because Nintendo's been requested by several third parties such as Sega and Capcom to take down those ROM sites, because they're gonna re-release their old games under their compilation collections or Sega Ages or
and like I said, if that were the issue, this shit would have been released years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Sega's been releasing compilations for years. So is Capcom, and this hasn't been an issue. I'm telling you, it's the online service. That's what this shit's about. It's the online service. It's and like I said, legally it's their prerogative. Legally, an author can go to any library in America and say, I don't want my books in your library, because they hold the copyright to that. Legally, they can do that. Now, I mean,
opposite to what you're saying, but no, they can't do.
Legally they can, because
they can't. If I bought that, if the libraries bought the books, as you just stated, if the libraries bought the books, then they could, and they're not making a profit out of which they're not, then they could put it up. Normally I would agree with you, but we're seeing this same thing happen in Japan. Remember the big thing where people were basically like buying games? I got you saying, I'm talking about U.S. law. I'm not talking about Japan law.
Well,
legally speaking, in the copyrights here,
you can do that. Yeah.
Well, okay,
legally, if you hold the copyright to something, and even if it's in a public place, like if you say, okay, look, you bought my. Well, I mean, music is different because music rights are held, typically, even if the artist holds it, someone else holds the music rights, unless you're like Ray Charles or someone like that. But like, if you're an author and you say, look, this book, I did not authorize this book to be sold or to be put in this thing, they can make a legit argument that they can have that shit pulled if they want to. Now, most authors don't do that because that's kind of a dick move, but they could.
They could, and it will not win. I've seen many lawsuits when people
Oh.
try when it did not. Like I said, without the sale. You said sale, then yes, they would. Then that's a different story.
But
Without the sale,
I mean, you know,
without the sale, you can't do that because music
Well-
could be that, movies could be that. If I'm not selling your stuff, it's selling your stuff. That's where the free act comes in. If you're selling it, okay. If the library bought the books, bought them legitimately from you, if they bought it from you legitimately, and then not selling the books to make money off of it, then
I mean, here's the thing. Okay, I could be wrong. You know,
I'm just stating that part right there.
It's nothing that I've ever gone into. But my point is this: they could, like, copyright law. They says, you know, they could make the case depending on the circumstances. But I mean, all I'm saying is this: you know, if it's that big of a deal, then, you know, most people aren't doing that. I mean, like, they have the legal right to do that, but they aren't doing that. But like, I don't think that's the case. Like, I'm not seeing people going around like knocking off Nintendo games or Sega games. I mean, there's a heavy hacking, you know, people hacking shit all the time. But I mean, that's the nature of programming. People are always going to take something that's popular and hack it. Like, people hacked Tetris, Pac-Man. You know, old school Mario got hacked for PC and they called it the Gianna Sisters. I mean, that's just, you know, that's the nature of the beast. You know, if you don't want that to happen to your code,
well,
get out the business.
Like I said, hey, I have no problem letting anybody speak on the class. You can hear what people say. Any of you guys got anything else to add to this?
Not at the moment.
I got something.
All right,
Okay, go ahead.
go ahead, Trip.
Now, Red, yeah, it's been a long time since I've been here, but yeah, Red, you did say that this is only recently Nintendo has done this. I have to disagree, and even though I do not have the proof, which is didn't have the foresight, but there was a couple of years back, and then some, that periodically, but not like every day, but there's been some websites that has been basically tagged on by Nintendo because of the whole emulation. Now,
I never said there wasn't. I'm saying that the two websites that they sued for $12 million were two of the biggest. Because I know they went after other websites for emulation, but that's because they were using Nintendo. They were like basically selling ROMs. Like, they were basically selling ROMs, which is like you're basically taking someone else's IP and using it like it's your own
and making money off it.
Yeah, like I have no look. Listen, if some like the websites that they were doing that, absolutely right. These were people who weren't really selling ROMs. Now, I mean, you could argue that they were using Nintendo ROMs for ad revenue because people were clicking on the website, and that's kind of a gray area. I don't know how you parse that.
Were those sites actually selling ROMs or were they selling repo cards?
No, the ones that they sued were selling ROMs. If I remember correctly, they were basically like one of those things where like click on this, and pay like $1.99 and get the emulator and the ROM, which is weird because emulators are open source. You're not really allowed to sell them. That's the whole point. Like as long as the emulator is open source and you're not selling it, it's technically illegal. But I mean, once you start selling an emulator, then it's like you're basically selling code that was used to make that game, and that's illegal. And plus, they were selling ROMs, which, I mean, you know, if you're selling ROM, if you're using someone else's work to make money off of it, then I mean, they were in their rights to sue them. I mean, that's just how it is.
All right. Anybody else?
right.
I'm just wondering when are these people gonna hear the phrase "don't make money off somebody else's work"?
Like I said, I know what people's look. They took rounds that people made in these two sites spot. They took rounds that people made, put it all in a spot, so other people could use them. All right. Now the point I'm going to point out is really beyond the scope. But I mean that I know it, but I mean it's beyond the scope of what most of the gaming is all about. And the problem is one of the reasons which is in the lawsuit as well too is people took those same ROMs from that site historically and then resell them. So they took it from, it's like they're the drug dealer to the younger drug dealer.
So at the end of the day, it's still an extension of the reason they went after the other ROM sites earlier, which
that's a part of
the
lawsuit. And
okay then. Okay.
And it does sucks. Again, you can't be the drug dealer in the neighborhood and then the little man got caught. Yeah, it sucks. It does sucks, but what can you do? Now, okay, of course they're not gonna pay the $12 million. That's just the part. And again, the Nintendo lawyers are basically just doing that to scare other people to do that. It is scare other people, sites from doing that. And are they gonna stop all the sites as Red and anybody would say? No, they won't, because people are gonna just do it. It's the internet. They're gonna keep on doing it.
And you're just going to transfer it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on the internet. You can't get rid of something once it's on the internet. It's always going to be there.
You're telling me that that the biggest reasons these sites get caught is because people were taking those ROMs and selling them off of their site?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
in the end, Nintendo's completely in the right then.
No, they've been in the right from the get-go.
Because it's their IP.
The only problem, and like I said, I get the gamers. Look, and again, this is not against Red. This is not against you, Red. Because you do it your way, and I respect the way that you do it. And I always said this to any people, but this is a part of the entitlement. Like, there's a lot of people out there who just want free shit and don't want whatever. I get because. Like I said, what it said with my sister, and I also have younger people. If they wanted to play the older stuff, there's still people out there you buy. Yes, you gotta find out if they work and everything, buy for a reputable place and whatever. But if it's lost your history, it's lost your history. But if you want to play them, because again, look what I don't. Okay, I'll give an example. And this again is not attack against you, Red. I'm just using an example because you're more the movie buff than I am in that regard. How much time Disney has done remasters of Sleeping Beauty?
Oh God! I mean, if we're talking about just about when they lie and say we're opening up the vault, that's like 10 or 15 times.
Okay,
I mean,
and here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's a selling ploy. I know that. We all agree on that. Yeah. But you could have you bought it then. You don't have to re-dye it again because they use. Oh, now we have it in 4K and all. It's the same thing.
Yeah, basically.
Same exact movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, it's kind of like I've said numerous times. I'm not against emulation and ROM play and stuff like that. My rule of thumb with the stuff is this, okay? If you're gonna do it, it has to be something where you can't reasonably get your hands on it. It was never brought to America, which means because if they were really that serious about it, they would have localized it and brought the shit over. And number two, and the last one is, like if you want to get your hands on it, it has to be reasonable to get your hands on it. So, if you want a first run of Earthbound, that shit's gonna cost unopened. That's like $500+. I'm sorry.
Have fun looking for that.
I mean, your best bet would just be to download the thing off of the Wii U Virtual Console.
Well,
it's much cheaper.
And here's the thing: there's a revenue. There's the open, like you just said. You give an example of that. There are some games though that I've seen that I've not. Here's the thing, and I'm being maybe because I'm saying this, and I hope people don't take offense to this. I'm being adult. There's some games I've seen in the past, like, oh man, I wish I had that game, and like you said, I see the price. Well, I ain't paying $200, $300 for that, and I move on.
Basically,
it's just sorry. Yeah. If you want it that bad, you buy it. If you don't want it that bad, and it makes no sense or whatever, just move on. It's part of history. You're not. I've said this many times to my child. You're not gonna play every greatest game ever made. You're not.
Yeah.
You just ain't.
I mean, the only games that suffer from this are licensed video games that will never be re-released ever again.
Not really. There's tons of games besides licensed ones that just I mean, like, it's the same thing with, they're same thing with movies. There are movies that have been lost, and they're never, like, if you didn't see it, or they didn't save a copy of it, you're never going to get to see it. And that's how games are. Like, once the masters are lost, and no one ever uploaded to the internet, you're just SOL, which is kind of sad, but...
But that's life. I mean, I never drove... Some people never drove a certain car. Some people never fly. Like right now, and I'll give an example. I wanted to fly on the Concorde when I was young. And I thought it was a cool thing. I'm a plane buff. I always wanted to say that would be cool to get from New York to London in 2 hours. Hey, the Concorde ain't around no more. So I could wonder at it, but that's as far as it goes. That's it. I'm not gonna spend $4,000 or $5,000 now with SpaceX and all those guys. No, I ain't doing that. That's way more than what a ticket was with that Concorde. I'm good. I'm all right. Some things are lost to history. It's sad, but it happened. It just does.
Yeah, I concur with the 2 points that Red has made. What I still don't get is why is so many of these YouTubers are surprised that something like this is happening. This is going to. I mean, this is now.
Because YouTubers like to whine and complain about shit that's irrelevant in the grand scheme of things, and while ignoring major shit right in front of them. Like they're like Nintendo went after these 2 ROM sites. Okay, what about Sony over here trying to create their own rating system and censoring things? Now, I don't really listen. Personally speaking, I don't give a shit about Dead or Alive Volleyball. I didn't like it when it was on the Xbox. I don't like it now. I think it's a game that just has jiggle physics, and that's it.
Yep.
I would be more inclined if it was an actual Dead or Alive fighting game.
But I get what you say. That doesn't mean, but again, certain people want that kind of setup, so we leave that to that. So, I get it. But I mean, we'll get to Sony in that regard. Give my idea. Anything you want to add to it, or?
No, not really a whole lot. I mean, I think you guys covered everything I was thinking about. So.
Okay, all righty. All right, now that's cool.
I was just really like people trying to bash Nintendo for the sake of bashing Nintendo because that's what makes them the most money, honestly.
Yeah,
and I'll say this again. I'll say this just to finish this topic here. And we talked about this in the off chat last time, Red. Like I said, is Nintendo Online great? No, but what you will expect for $20?
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I looked at PlayStation.
I looked at.
Huh? Go ahead.
They're expecting all expenses paid trip to Disneyland with the cruise and all their meals taken care of. They want the works for that little bit of money.
I mean, the small offer pretty much justifies the small price because usually the more expensive something is, the more quality you're expecting it to give.
Well,
but hold on. Why don't
that's bullshit. There's a lot of things.
Why don't these people get mad at Sony though? Why don't they get mad at Sony though for Sony's network constantly dropping?
Because they're the company that is supposed to be for the gaming.
I mean, literally, you can set the seasons because every 3 to 4 months, the Sony network falls apart. It's like, oh, it must be spring. Sony's network is down for the next 3 days. Oh, it must be summer. Oh, it must be fall because Sony's network is down for the next 3 or 4 days. Like clockwork. And they have the most expensive online network. Now, Nintendo's not. I mean, because Nintendo's. Reggie Fils-Aimé said himself, they have fucking peer-to-peer servers, which means your ISP, your internet service provider, is doing the heavy lifting for their online.
Yep. That is
true. So even $20 is like, well, shit, I already paid for my ISP. What the fuck am I paying you? Oh, the library of old ass games that, as a Nintendo fan, I already have the physical version of.
Yeah, and the funny thing about I'll be honest about. Sorry, right. I want to cut you on something. Hold on.
I can agree, but.
Wait. Let me say this. Like I said, before, I'll let you finish. I want to say this. The thing I care about, like what Red said right there, is saying the old games and stuff like that. That's true. And and Red State has the games before. Most of the people who are angry about this are people who are basically our age and a little bit younger, who was around when these things were cheap and could have bought it at the time, but they didn't.
Yeah.
No, I get it that you were young, you couldn't buy, they didn't have the money back in the 90s. I respect that.
I respect. My issue isn't that, like, or my issue is that these games are, like, if you're a hardcore Nintendo fan, you have these physically. I am not that hardcore of a Nintendo fan. I have certain games that I like to play, but I also have these games digitally. I got them on the Wii Virtual Console and the Wii U Virtual Console, the 3DS. And now you want me to pay you $20 a year to rent them.
And you know what? And
that's my problem.
No, but that's a decision that you made, and I have nothing against what decision you made. Not at all. You are correct in what you just said right there, and that's your money, and you do what you have to do. That I respect you more for that, saying what you just said, and holding your money than some of the people, which we'll get into a couple more stories that I have here, who say crap and then they go out and still buy the crap.
Yeah.
So yeah, like it's just I remember watching that video from Review Tech USA, and it's just like, did you look at the whole? None of these so-called commentators in the gaming industry don't look into these stories completely, because I didn't know that. I didn't know people were selling. Taking those ROMs from those sites and selling.
Are you kidding, Konoshi? How long you been listening to me when you know there's been when it comes to stuff like this? I look into the stuff more deeper. Come on.
And Konoshi, how many times? I don't know about like I know selling ROMs was a thing like 10 years ago, but I know that now if you go on a smartphone and you go to the emulator and ROM section, because it's there on smartphones, folks. People selling ROMs.
Yeah.
Selling ROMs.
Well, I understood if they're selling repo carts, but
no. ROMs. Selling a ROM with an emulator for like $1.99, $2.99, $3.99. Selling ROMs.
Why?
Yes, they're trying to sell ROMs that are likely ripped.
That's my question. I'm like, I don't know
who's buying them. I want to know who the hell is buying them.
Well, I could give you an answer, but it would not be politically correct, and I really mean it in the nicest way, so I'm not going to even say it. Because I can give you an example. I can give you an example because I still don't understand some people when they buy certain things. I'm like, how the hell? Why would you buy that? And it's literally free. But I digress. Say what? No, you don't know what I'm talking about. You do not know what I'm talking about.
I was about to say, my thing is like, this is not even new just for the gaming industry. Like all this stuff, like you said, mentioned, like not to put your music up on like YouTube and stuff because people can steal it.
Yeah.
Like I remember back in like grade school, people used to sell like bootleg CDs or like songs just burn on the CD.
Well, again, let's go to gaming again. Remember back in the GameCube, why third parties wanted Nintendo to use a different format so they could not get copyrighted.
Remember the Dreamcast? Remember going to people's houses and
PlayStation 2.
The PS2 was hackable, but not nearly as much as the Dreamcast. Because I remember going to my friend's house. And I'm not gonna name any names. Go to my friend's house, and this mofo pulled out a Trapper Keeper. See, this is real old school.
I'm not. You ain't gotta name no names. You ain't gotta name no names.
Stacks of CDs that he burnt for the Dream.
Again, I have two. I showed a video of this on my channel. I have the same thing. I've done it with Dreamcast and PlayStation, and I've said before. And I showed a lot.
I'm telling on you.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. You were telling on me because I showed in the video I said this, and I did show it. I showed because I was a fan of Capcom versus SNK.
Yeah.
And I didn't buy. And then when Capcom vs SNK 2 came out, it didn't came out on the west side for the Dreamcast. So
it just came out in Japan, yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine. So I know I was my college days. Yeah, I know a guy how they copy stuff or whatever, and I got that. But to be honest, I could show you. I have a legitimate copy of the game.
Yeah,
because I felt okay. broke at the time. I wanted this game, didn't get it. Okay, but I still went and bought the original game for the price of people because the people did work hard for those games.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like a lot of these games, like I still have them physically. So I mean, I'm not saying. I mean, I'm guilty of using ROMs too, but I try to just have the original copies. And just have
and like I said, I am not against like what Red said with the EverDrive and all that. I don't have no problem with that. But when my thing is that, again, you were basically the little drug dealer up top that you know whatever, and then people below you was doing that. It kind of has a problem.
The hardest, the only thing, really, the only thing it's hard to get is basically anything that's arcade only.
Here's my rule of thumb when it comes to emulation, like for consoles and stuff. Generally speaking, if the console isn't commercially supported anymore and the games themselves are like you have to go through extraordinary effort to get those games.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Dreamcast games, like you're not gonna find a physical copy of. So if you can find the ISO, and because it's not like it's not like Sega's gonna do anything about it.
Well,
they are legitimately trying to do it. They're not gonna, and I'll say this: they're legitimately trying to do a Dreamcast collection. Of course, it ain't gonna have all the great Dreamcast games in there. But I get what you're saying.
That's the thing. Yeah, I mean, aside from that, like. They're not going to have like okay, they aren't going to put Seaman on that collection. Seaman is not going to be there with Leonard Nimoy.
No.
Well,
okay.
But Red, you know why? That's one reason. There's one major reason.
Well, because Leonard Nimoy is dead, and if they put Seaman on there, that's just going to be so many bad jokes that are going to be told on YouTube and everywhere else.
The first thing that anybody's going to say, like, you won't get that Sega collection? Nah, it's got Seaman on it.
No, they're going to do skits. They're going to be skits. What are you playing? Oh, I'm just playing with my Seaman. What? literally.
Good night, everybody.
Literally the way that game worked, it had a little microphone, kind of like "Hey, you Pikachu," except it was a little sea creature, and you could basically get two of them, and they'd have sex and make more sea creatures, and you could feed them and stuff. It was a very interesting game. You could basically when that game came out, I knew Sega was fucked. Because no one with a successful console would put that shit on it. Like you won't see Seaman 2 on the PS4 or the Switch. I'll tell you that much right now.
Ouch. I was gonna say that you gotta have some balls not to make that kind of game. And I'm sorry, that was another bad joke.
Yeah, like I said, the hardest, really, in terms of like emulation stuff, really the hardest thing to get is like anything that's arcade only released. Like, who remember like the Konami X-Men game? Like, you can't really find that anymore.
Yeah, or
and that's not gonna get re-released because licensing.
Yeah, licensing and stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, like, listen. I'm not saying that it's legal, but I mean, hell, if you really want to play at games that never like Aliens vs. Predator, that game has never come to a home console, never. And Capcom will get off their ass and fucking release it. So you know what? If you want to play that game, main that shit out. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
We don't have $3,000 for a cabin.
Okay. I'll say this, but look.
I want.
Go ahead, Andre. Go ahead. Okay, I want to say about what Red said right there.
No, I was going to say I wanted to bring up Jack Gates' point in the chat. It was like the issue about everybody preserving games, but then they're grabbing ROMs from games that only came out like a year or so ago to put up on websites and stuff.
Yeah.
And you got to pay them for a membership to be a part of their website.
Well, to be honest, you should. If someone that's why I kind of was like when people were hacking, were jailbreaking the Wii U and the Wii. Like, if you're emulating and ripping the ISOs and ROMs of shit that's of current consoles, that's where you fucked up because that's not preservation. You're a fucking thief. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to what Red just said about that, where he's saying that he didn't get reads. And here's the thing: that's cool if you find a way to get it for yourself.
Yeah,
I'm cool with that. That if you do that, but no one will be selling this shit. Yeah, don't go be selling the shit. That's where you cross the line. So
no, see, nobody should be doing that.
Yeah. If you want to go and you find your way to get it, okay, you're the sneaky bastard to go ahead and go get it. I give you that. Yeah. But for you to go and then again you to do that, that's where you messed up. But yeah, I think right there we got that topic. So let's go to another topic, which is I have to say is the holy crap of the week for me. And that's basically Bethesda putting out this dick and whipping gamers with it. I swear, people. I swear that.
You mean the physical copy of the game that just cardboard
put out? The most evilest thing ever done in the gaming industry.
I don't think that's the evilest thing. No.
Actually, no. The most evil thing. The most evil thing was Sony. Charging people $60 for an online service that goes out every 3 or 4 months.
We could say that, but I'll let you guys take it from there. Let me set it up for the people out there again, for those who coming in who never about the Bethesda thing. All right, and I am coming from the point of I know people, and there's some people who want to hit me the technical about, it's the creation engine is the same. I don't give a crap about it. If the game's fun, I don't care, because I'm playing old games. As Trippers play old games, that's fun. It ain't no difference what engine it was. If the game could play and it doesn't work or whatever, and it's fun. But so Bethesda had the idea because everybody was on this whole battle royale bull crap. So Bethesda threw their hand in it. So they came out with Fallout 76. Okay, no problem. I lost interest as soon as he said it's gonna be always online. I was like, oh well, that's good. Good luck with that. So first, it's always online. Then they went, and then they basically, if you listen to a lot of Todd Howard stuff, it's like you literally have that. It's weird, but I digress. I'll give you a couple of Q points from Todd Howard. One was when Todd Howard said that he said that. If anybody who buys the game, and this is the letter on Bethesda saying this, anybody find the game and find the bugs, you report back to Bethesda to tell us what bugs you found. Now, that is something that is...
So I'm paying you to be a bug tester for you?
Basically. Basically. And you could go to Bethesda, and look at it from, and it was there. And I don't know if they took it down now, but I was like, you got the balls to help me.
What type of Kickstarter shit is it?
That's like you building a new house, and the builder says, okay, the house is still under warranty, but on top of that, like, even though it's under warranty, you had to give us extra money on top of that if something falls apart. But you built the house; it's under warranty. That doesn't matter.
No, it's worse than that, because it's basically you going to McDonald's. You say, "I want a Big Mac and fries and a drink." Bad enough I gotta go to a fountain and put my own drink in there. Now they tell you, now you gotta come back in and cook your own burger.
I gotta say this: there's a lot of PC gaming companies that's done similar stuff. But I gotta give it to Bethesda that they would go so far and actually got the balls to actually say that, and on the uptake, beta payoffs.
Yeah. So that's one of the few things that Todd Howard said. This, and this. I said okay, and if you go to literally, Todd Howard said a lot of crap between Fallout 7, but I'm not gonna. That was the one that sticked out to me the most. And then as we know, they have this game. If you're buying this game, this game has a 97 gig download.
Wow.
97 gig.
Hold on. It's only 97 gig.
And it's only going to get bigger as time goes on, because as they add more stuff and patch stuff. I mean,
they're going to add stuff for you to bug test it for them, though.
Exactly. But wait. I'll let you guys get your stuff, but let me keep. I was like, so it's 97 gigs, but it's not the 97 gigs that you like. Okay, because I'll tell you this is the absolute truth. One of my coworkers, he bought the game. Okay, if you bought it, he's not a YouTuber, so I ain't gonna tell him say, hey, it's always online game. He said, I said he like Bethesda, so hey, that's what he want to do. That's his money. I don't care. So of course he bought the game. You know when he bought the game Tuesday. You know when he started playing the game Thursday.
Friday.
It took him 2 days to download it, and he has fast internet. He has fast internet, and he was like, "Here's the part that take it off a little bit more." Okay,
that's funny because I said, and I predicted it took him till Friday to get it.
No, well, it's Tuesday. You got to choose Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So he had the Tuesday night, the Wednesday, and he played it Thursday when he got home from work, which was 5 o'clock. But
that is horrible.
The part about it that's even worse. Okay, say like, okay, let's be out. Like I said, I'm trying to be out. Here's what it is. Objective. Now there are other games that has bigger gigs than that. You know, Gears of War and all that stuff. But here's what happened. The difference is with Xbox, I'll just do an example. With Xbox, when you're doing that, once you get to a certain percentage, you can still play the game when the game's getting downloaded.
Mm-hmm.
With Fallout, that's where the problem is. It was a 45 gig install, and then a 52 day one patch, so you can play the game.
Good God!
So you weren't even playing the game until you get that 52 day one patch.
And I just have a rhetorical question to ask people who are complaining about this. Bethesda, this is the company who can't make single player games that aren't broken pieces of shit. What made you think a multiplayer online game was going to be stable? Like, I don't...
But it's Bethesda, man.
Okay.
Exactly. You just answered the question.
Okay, but like I said, I'll let you guys go. I'll let you guys what that is. Let me finish up the roundup. So you have that. That's what you got to do with the game. And of course, when you if because all that gigs, and of course everybody talk about Nintendo doesn't have enough size. Well, hell, the same guy I talked about, he had his Xbox. He had to get rid of Tomb. He had to delete Tomb Raider. The new Tomb Raider came out because he couldn't fit, and he has a terabyte. He had to delete a game to get a game. So when y'all argue about the whole thing with Nintendo, like, hey, most of the games are on a cartridge. You go play, blah blah blah. They installs. There's some games that do it, and I'll admit to those that does something that does that. But it makes sense to be a physical game. I get that. I mean, a digital game. I get that. But if you were the few people who went out there and said, well, let me go buy this. You got yourself this is the physical right here. You bought that, and it's not a disc that you like CD disc. It's basically this one. So you got a cardboard disc inside a plastic box.
That is some shit.
That's what you get right there when you buy the game physically.
Okay.
You know what? You know what they should have included in that? That should have been like the cardboard disc. When you take it out, this thing pops up and says, "Ha ha!" You just got
man.
And of course, wait. And of course, let me finish it up. Let me just finish it up. Let me wrap it up in a nice bow. And of course, last but not least,
breathe.
She can't help herself. She can't.
Look, don't listen. Slow down and breathe. We do not need you dying here.
Yeah, because we can't help you if
I know.
I can't look. I am not Nightcrawler. I can't teleport to your ass and perform CPR. Hurry,
I know, right? I know. Okay, and last but not least, and as Red stated before, and it's the truth, all that and the game's still a broken game. All that shit and the game's still broken.
Okay, can I run with this? I want to be the first to run with this. Just saying.
Wait. Okay, I'll let you go first, Andre. So basically, Bethesda dropped their draws, tells you, hey, you're gonna suck this dick. They slap you with it first. and you willing to say, well, I'll do it, Bethesda. What is wrong with gamers?
And wait a second, you have to add something. And not only do you say I'll do it, I'll pay you to do it.
Okay.
All right, Andre.
I gotta go with this one. Okay.
Close yours, Andre.
Okay.
Take care.
First of all, people got mad at Nintendo for selling cardboard, remember? But
Oh my God.
Cardboard came with a fucking game, and then shit you can actually do with it. This cardboard is little more than a fucking code. You might as well just go on the fucking online store and purchase this shit instead of having this useless material sitting the fuck around.
Still do it anyway.
And then,
The only thing that cardboard is good for is toilet paper.
and then they're gonna keep telling you, they're gonna keep having, they're gonna keep using the same fucked up engine that they've been using for fucking ever, which is gonna have all the same bugs, and they're gonna tell you that you have to pay them in order for you to fix their fucking game. Oh my God, that's fucking ridiculous. And then, oh God. Oh man. Oh man. I swear, if I could see this man, I'd smack the shit out of him. There's no way in the world you're gonna tell me that I have to buy your game to tell you how to fucking fix it. If I have to do that shit, that is not a purchase. It is not worth the fucking money. I would not spend it. I would go out, and then on top of that, you got to delete other shit to play this shit, even when you have a massive fucking storage drive. Fuck Bethesda.
We just took the book because I literally read the preface with, okay, the people that bought the cardboard Switch, yeah, you guys.
Hold on now. At least when Nintendo sold you a box, they told you it was a fucking box. These motherfuckers are selling you a box and tell you it's a damn DVD.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, all of them have been doing this for years. Like where they sell you a physical version of a game. Oh yeah, this is the special black box edition of this game. It comes with all these minis, but the game isn't in here. Oh well, there's a download code. You download the game.
And I get that, Ray, because I've looked back just for the case of this. I've looked back to see what, and you're correct. You are 100% correct. But they didn't put a fake disc in there.
No, they didn't.
they had a ball. They had at least to say, okay, it's a download code, and here's the slip. But they put a fake disc in there.
Here's my thing. Why not actually put the fucking Blu-ray in there that would hold the 45 gigs of game data, so you don't have to download it. You at least don't have to download that portion.
Because that takes effort, and this is Bethesda.
That's right.
Right, you guys ever heard about that? What is it? The pre-order item or the deluxe edition?
Yeah, I heard about
it. $1 million.
Does getting this cardboard disc give you a fucking achievement in the game?
Oh wow! Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I gotta pull an almost here on you for a second. You bought a useless item.
Actually, no. As the resident Fallout fanboy here. Actually, here's what happens. As soon as you put in the code in the game, your character loses 5 points of intelligence, which means if you already have below 5 on the screen, you just become a dumb rock and you die automatically because that thing says you are an idiot. Ka-ching!
We're gonna call this Fallout 76 Brickial Console Edition.
Yeah. Fallout 76. Fallout 76. We got 76 problems, and fixing this shit ain't
one of them. Exactly. Exactly. Holy crap. That is ridiculous.
This is the culmination of years of people letting Bethesda get away with shit. Oh well, I just like playing their games. I like playing their games too. But if anyone asks me why do you like Bethesda games, I don't like Bethesda games because Bethesda makes them. I like Bethesda games because 6 months, a year after they come out, people who are passionate in the community add all types of cool shit to it that makes their games better.
You know what? Speaking
Yeah,
about
PC community has been fixing Bethesda games for fucking years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking about the modders, this is something that one of the top modders that's basically that's some gaming journalist website that basically picked up on his story, and he came back to his website in response to say, "No, editor, I am not asking Bethesda to make a new engine. I am begging down my knees."
Well, he's something.
You want to know something else to think about though? Modders fix Bethesda's games, but they don't ever think to hire on these modders and like pay them to actually make a working engine for their game.
Actually, they do hire their modders. They're called general contractors. That's what Bethesda's creation fund is. They basically buy they give them a blanket price for their mods and then sell them to people at an upsell.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking of the Christian Whitehead situation with Sega. Sega said, "Well, he's making better Sonic games than us. Let's hire him on."
But mods are expensive. I mean, making new engines are expensive. You know what else is expensive? Not having a job. That's really expensive.
Well, actually, speaking of the engine, because I've had people from way back in, they're like, "Well, it's not the engine; it's how you use the engine." And you're right, it is how you use an engine. But here's the thing. No one here thinks that if they take an engine from 1976 Mustang and puts it in a modern Mustang, that they're going to get the same level of performance if they manage.
No, you're not.
No,
No, you're not.
Here's the thing, okay? You have to yes, you have to yes. It's great when you have an old thing that's been well maintained, it can work well. But here's the thing, as time goes on, shit goes. Like a lot of places you can't even use an analog phone anymore. There's nothing for the signal to connect to. So you have to upgrade. Yeah, it would be great to use a rotary phone again. I mean, they kind of suck in terms of their technical qualities, but if someone attacked you, you could beat the shit out of someone with a rotary phone. But,
I mean, hey, if you got an old Nokia cell phone, it's the same concept.
Yeah, one of those suitcase phones from back in the day. But I mean, like you have to let shit go. But Bethesda's engine is old, it's decrepit. They just keep on building on. I mean, basically, it's like having an old ass house where the foundation was fucked up anyway.
Yep.
You keep on putting more shit on that foundation. I mean,
the biggest problem is that they don't even update the damn engine at all. It's just the same thing. They just keep reusing.
I mean, they do update the engine, but it's like the base engine. They just keep on adding new shit to an old broke down engine. It's like the same. I mean, the house analogy has worked. It's like if you have an old house and the foundation is jacked, and you keep on adding stuff to the house. We're gonna add a wing here. We're gonna add another floor here. We're gonna add.
It's gonna fall.
The house is gonna have major issues, and that's the problem with Bethesda. It's like they can barely get their engine to work, and then when people start adding stuff, changing features, I mean, like they can barely get their games to fucking work when it's just you and the NPCs spawning and enemies. And now they're fucking doing a game where there's 32 people on a server. Are you fucking kidding me?
And let's not forget, and I think I'm the only person who ever brought this up. Not to my own horn, but if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll say it. But let's not forget. Remember last year, Bethesda was kicking the whole. Oh, we want single player experience. Single player should not die. And the commercial they had for the Gamers Award and all that stuff. And
then they immediately go to multiplayer.
Thank you. It's like,
well, I mean, because that's where the money's at. Because basically, people will pay because gamers are dumbass gamers want shit to be.
I'll disagree with you with saying that's you said that's where the money's at. Totally, I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong, but that's a fad. If you get your money and you can save it, it makes you money. If you get in there and you lose your ass, then you lose your ass. That's a different story.
I don't want to.
I mean, okay, Bethesda ain't got much of an excuse though, because I mean, Nintendo launched the console with the Zelda game, and that Zelda game is still selling now.
Yep, 14
yeah,
mil.
but Nintendo is different than Bethesda. Like Nintendo has okay.
Let's go Red Dead. Red Dead still, and that's mostly a single player thing.
Yeah, but that's Rockstar. Rockstar has strong IPs that sell for years and years and years. People still buying GTA 5.
Yeah.
People are still buying GTA San Andreas. People are still buying those games. Like Bethesda, aside from the only IP that they themselves made and that has staying power is Elder Scrolls. Every other IP, like Fallout, they bought Fallout. They aren't the creators of Fallout, because anyone who's a major fan of Fallout will tell you Bethesda's iterations of Fallout aren't that good. They aren't. They are not good at all. And like basically like everything else that Bethesda has been putting out, they bought. They bought Doom. They bought id Software to get Rage. They bought and Quake. They didn't make that. So I mean, like. You know, like, and they're pimping out poor Fallout, which was like one of my favorite Western RPGs. They just been ruining that for everybody.
I got you. All right. So look, that's Bethesda. They're one of the things I understand, and I get what Red said about you understand what you like it because people could do some crazy stuff with it. But again, I'm just seeing more and more game studios. This is the kind of stuff that I'm not angry about, of course. I'm just as everybody you heard just a while ago laughing because it's so outrageous that people buy stuff like that. But hey, your money, you do it. Your money, you do it.
I mean, look, we ain't gonna go to a movie theater, and I've said this many times before. You're not gonna go to a movie theater and watch a movie after paying for it, and then the last 15 minutes are hacked off, and the credit cards flop up out of nowhere for you to watch the rest of the movie. You get the fuck up and walk the hell out and cut the movie theater out while you walking away.
or even apt if you went and bought a car and they're like, well, why is there a door missing? Oh no, if you want that door, we need another $200 for that door.
Like, fuck you, give me my money back.
$200 for a paper door.
What?
Exactly. The gaming industry is one of the weirdest one. Yeah, it's one of the weirdest when it comes to this community. But let's go to the next topic. I think we exhausted this, but I just wanted to let this one go because it's so unique, and it goes to my point though, like I said before. The gaming industry I would say for the longest time it's dying, but I'm seeing now that they're still making money. I'm not gonna deny that. It's just that they're not coming with more original IPs, original single game, not single player, single IPs itself making money as they're going towards more this online services crap for most of these games. Black Ops 4. Battlefield, you know what I'm talking about with the whole stuff like that. So
the heart and soul of a lot of these games are dying.
So and that's why I said that's why when Terrell 83, shout outs to him and Mel, I said it was like, you know what, I had to change it. I think look at these games because it was a and I'll give it the precise moment. It was early this year when who's not with us right now. I think he has a busy life as well. But Dr. Feelgood shared a post on Google Plus about Street Fighter V, and I was like, and I saw it, and he was talking about, and it was a video, and I watched the video, and one of the guys said that talk about Street Fighter V, and he said how they changed the core and everything, and I played the game. I would buy because I just didn't want to buy the game. I just whatever. But when he's a guy who's a Street Fighter fan straight through and through, and he said certain things in the video, and I'm like, you know what, he is correct. Street Fighter 5, it's soulless. So I was like, I think, and then that it popped in my bubble. Like, yeah, I don't. Looking at the numbers, the gaming industry is gonna stay for a while. They're making money. But like I said, I give props to Rocksteady and Red Dead Redemption 2, the money that those guys made and selling. That's cool. So I always give props to people who do good stuff. But when I saw that, okay, you're making all this money, I'm like, yeah, but there are not many games like these kind of games. So yeah, it's gonna become soulless. It's not gonna be the gaming industry that we know when we go, where you had everybody was excited about games, and even if you didn't like the game that I like, we could at least talk about it and still have a camaraderie with each other. But now, it's either you like my game or not.
And if you don't,
you playing that Splatoon garbage, man? You should be on Fortnite.
You're a Nintendo gamer. You're a little bitch. It's like, well, I mean, why do I have to like the same stuff you like? and if I don't, I'm not a gamer.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. And without that without that us doing that like that, it's gonna come soulless, and game developers are gonna pick this up, which leads into the next topic, which I'm gonna show on the screen right here. And I have to give props when props are due again. Next topic is this. I'm gonna read basically. Give me a second. Let me put it on the screen for me so I can read it. I'm gonna read. So. Ubisoft has this game called Trials Rising, and of course he has microtransaction and stuff. It's coming out. It's coming out. It's not ain't out yet. It's coming out. But they said they're gonna have microtransactions and stuff in it. So I'm gonna read. So people was like, oh, they're angry and all that stuff. One developer did said, well, the usual PR, we understand what you guys are talking about, making this game, blah, 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 blah. But another developer who was a developer on the thing said something that me have said, and you heard me say many times, but everybody here mostly read and Trip and all of us said multiple times too, but you know my saying, so I got to give kudos to the developer for saying this. So I'll put it on the screen and we'll read it together. Well, I'll read it because it's just is something that we've been saying for a long time. So let me see. Give me a second here.
Well, we've already put targets on our back, so.
True. Okay. So, and share, and my screen is the main screen. Okay. All right. So. As it's been pointed out, the loot crates are purely cosmetic, right? Ubisoft did. I do appreciate why players feel the way they do about. Not a huge fan myself. However, as it was pointed out, you could always not buy them.
How about we always not buy your game?
No, but the
I think he was being very frank.
No, the dev was right though. But
I want to put a gun to your head and say you have to buy this shit. And if more gamers would just not buy it, it would be better.
Yeah, it would be.
Exactly. That's
because they have bling, you know.
If it wasn't bought into, they wouldn't still be selling them. That's really it.
Exactly. Ultimately, they're intended for players who want something to help them stand out from the crowd when going online. But even those who are big fans of the game and who want to support them.
Other than your skills?
No, he's talking about you call it it's cosmetics, because gamers want to do that stuff. Yes, I mean there's some players end up spending more on games than others. And that does result in increased profit for us. It also helps us to put more money into the titles and understand what players look for in their future. But if players simply did not buy these crates, they would not be in future games. I say bravo, developer. I've been saying that for the longest time.
Stop. Look. I mean, this is the reason why gamers like myself said, like when Rockstar added GTA Online, don't put money in that shit because then they're gonna add this shit and everything, and it's gonna be ridiculous. All the no, I don't want to play with my friends. Okay.
Yep. Don't listen.
No.
And this is exactly why Devil May Cry 5 is going to have microtransactions in it.
Yep. Because people keep on spending money on
them. But like I said, I give props to the dev. He told the truth. That's why it's in future games, because you'll keep on buying the thing. And the sad part about YouTubers, majority of them, not us here, but majority of them is y'all make videos, argue, shake your fist. I can't believe Bethesda, Nintendo, blah, blah, blah. Anybody, whoever company's doing this sucks. But then lately, but because you want to have that game streaming on your Twitch and your YouTube, you here's the money. Here's the money.
How many people complained about Pokemon Let's Go?
Speaking of,
day one, they were spending every dollar that they had to go get that Pokeball Plus with Eevee or Pikachu.
Yep.
I'm not getting that BS because
speaking of Let's Go, Andre,
I ain't buying this game because it's not a true Pokemon game. But then you bought it.
Exactly. or people complain about Nintendo's online. Man, this online's bullshit. But I mean, if I go on your site, you've got like the Nintendo Online library, and you're playing those games. You see, me, I got the free thing for a week. I was like, this game seems kind of shitty to me, and I left it alone. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need it.
Or here's the thing. There's some YouTubers before this whole online payment craze came about on the Switch. Some of them, and I would like to say because I still have a shredded respect for them, but even if they went back crazy, but new people actually ask for it.
Well, it's not even that. We've been saying this since the Wii U days. When people complain, I'm like, it's free. Okay, shut up. Y'all made it not free, so fuck it. I can't.
Free. I am not gonna ask for anything more.
So, but I'll let me give it to. Okay, so I'll give it to Pinky Don. Pinky Don. You see, you had something to say because you were trying to get you all.
Regarding Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, there was at Metacritic there was a huge review. There was a huge review bomb from troll reviews.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. I talked about it in a video yesterday.
Look, man. Look, the people who want that game are going to buy it, and they don't give a shit about what Rotten Tomatoes says. Okay,
basically,
that's okay. Because listen. Okay, this is Pokemon Let's Go is made to appeal to those people who like the mobile game. That's what it's for. I mean, you look at the name, you look at the branding, you look at how you fight, and like it's all made to coincide with Pokemon Go, and for people who like
it's also well made to be exact.
The thing is though, this was all told to everybody before the game was even coming out.
Okay.
Everybody was warned ahead of time.
Now, wait. I don't like the Pokemon mobile game, and so Let's Go was never going to appeal to me because I don't give a shit about the mobile game. And I damn sure don't give a shit about
Okay.
Well, I have to tell you that it plays a lot better than the Pokemon Go mobile games.
Man, I don't care.
I'll say no.
I give no shit to
Pokemon Civil War.
Okay,
hold up, everybody.
What you did?
What? Okay, so I gotta say, Joel, because you're not. What's your dismay with the game? I gotta ask. Come on, you dare say?
So I could at least say it in my own tone here. Let's see. This game is at least of its catching mechanic. Its catching mechanic is not going to prepare people into the game for what maybe in the future.
Okay.
And if this is limit. Even though it says it's limiting, it's more limiting because it's disabled feature. It's got rid of features that have been in the game and evolved with it since it grew.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you're not preparing people to go into the next game, and even though this is a Go game, if this is supposed to be in between, this failed entirely.
All right, and that's Jules' opinion. Now, my sister bought Let's Go Eevee, and I've seen the game. I played the game. Not a bad game. You don't have to say anything. It's not a bad game. It's not if you're gonna use motion controls to catch the Pokemon. If you're gonna go to get the Pokemon, it doesn't work that well yet. Maybe they'll patch it in. It works better with the thumbsticks, which in most cases
it works best with the Pokeball Plus.
Yeah. Well, I don't. She didn't went that far with that. She just
accessory.
She just used the Joy-Con, and you can use the Joy-Con, of course. So, I messed around with it, played it for a little bit. Yes, as Jewel pointed out, and it's true. It's not. It is an in between. It really is. A lot of people.
Not.
No, it is.
It's a failure for being an in between.
How?
It's not a failure. Actually.
It's simple. Like I said, it doesn't prepare you for battles. It doesn't prepare you for its future games, or even what's in the present games if you're trying to look them up in the past.
she's saying.
Okay. I get what she's saying. No, I got what she's saying. Yeah. Okay, so Drew, I'll put this to what you just said. I get what you're saying. You coming from the core of the Pokemon fan of that, and my sister's a core fan.
Yeah, and the bar is low already. So I'm actually really disappointed with that. So
and I respect you're disappointed. I'm not trying to change your mind. That's what you say. I'm not changing your mind. What I'm saying though is it's a between.
Trying to tell people to not go for this.
Well, and again, I'm not disagreeing with you on your opinion, Joe. I'm not. Listen to what I'm saying.
Because everyone's going to have their opinion on it.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with your opinion. I think you have a valid point of saying what you're saying. I'm saying it's an in between because majority of the people from Let's Go ain't played Pokemon from since Gold and Silver, maybe Red Leaf,
or never played them at all,
or never played them at all. Now
they may have heard of it. Like it's there to appeal to the people who played Pokemon Go on their mobile.
In most cases, yes. Now I've played, like I said, I'll be honest with you, Drew. I never played Pokemon Go. I didn't play Pokemon Go. I didn't download it. I played Pokemon from the old school, not the new school. My sister played old school all the way up to now. So my point of saying what I say is in between is like Redem just said that. Like I said, most of the people, when you play the Pokemon Go, you just throw a ball, you throw the thing, and you just and you'll see the catch and all that stuff. It has a little more. They made it that you got to be a little bit more challenging, not a lot, a little bit more challenging, so people don't feel we call it overwhelmed. For those who never played the game, overwhelmed of playing the game. Would this help them play the game in the future? Majority of them, no. Is it gonna be in? But is it gonna get some people to say, hey, if they're gonna have the tenacity to say, let me go. Oh, you know what? I ain't played this game in a while. Let me play it, and then the next Pokemon game come out. Understand the nuances, and then because it depends on the person who wants to learn the new nuances. I don't think I think it's a smart idea because it makes no sense to put all the new mechanics as you said right now, and a lot of people would be like, "Wow," and just return the game back or whatever. I think it's an in between. Now you have the right as a gamer, like I've said many times before, to be just ready for Ubisoft. You didn't like it, you did not buy it. Respect you.
But here's the thing, Duo. It's been previously said by Game Freak that the Let's Go games is going to will soon become its own series if it sells well.
Well, if it makes money, it makes money. Again, what I want to say, if I came up with a different, if I've been doing reggae for all my life and I started doing rock and it makes money, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, that's just and that's what I said, and that's what I said in my podcast. I said, look, if it sells really well, that they're gonna start and incorporate those aspects. Because listen.
No,
and that's yes, it is, Pinky. Stop lying about that. It's going to be in the game if it sells well.
The Pokemon Company is not a non-profit, okay?
Exactly.
They exist to make money. All right. Now, I'm pretty sure someday, maybe in the future, there will be a non-profit video game company. And that's the day where they'll just make it to keep everything going. And maybe pay for people to have their retirements, and they'll just make what they need to make in order to make the games they want to make, and everything will be okay.
Well,
you got a good dream of that one.
This is the way I see it. You don't have to like it. You just have to sell it.
Video game.
I'm being
facetious.
I know you're being facetious, but God.
Well, I'm being halfway facetious. If there was a small studio and the only thing they wanted to do was just make the games they wanted to make enough to keep the lights on, and people make a living, they have enough to maybe make a retirement. I mean, I would support them, but the thing is like when people start making money, they change. But that's
and also that's how the industry is, because even if you say that they didn't make a lot of money, like you said, you're right, money does change people. But it's a cutthroat industry in the first place. You have to be aggressive. You can't just walk nonchalantly and say, "Here's my game, guys. Try it out." Yeah. No.
Me personally, like I said, the game didn't really hold any interest for me. I saw it. I was like, I don't like Pokemon Go, and like Let's Go.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I said, Drew, I respect for you with what you just said. I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that against what you said. That's your point. your opinion, how you feel. You didn't buy the game, and you can share it with anybody. That's why I let you say what you have to say, because that's what you feel being a Pokemon fan. I get that.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm actually talking about. I'm saying that they're making two separate main series, kind of like how. I get what you're saying. And like I said, and I get what you're saying. Okay, let me put it in my words. If Federation Force had sold, then Metroid would have done maybe another Federation Force 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. That's what you're trying to say, and that's what I'm saying. If it sold, it would do that. And let's go Pikachu and Eevee. It's gonna sell. And let's not lie. It's gonna sell.
Yeah.
And if they want to do it to make, and they want to put that and say, oh wow, we get super casual fans that like this simple gameplay, then you know what? We'll cater to them. And then when we come back, we do the hardcore, the people who love the switching to having the super strategy and all that stuff. Then they'll do that. And then that's
here's the thing I'm going to say right now.
That's what they're going to do next year. They're going to release.
I get you.
If this BS gets into the main series, I'm going to be saying it's on you, Pinky.
I'm not gonna say it's on one person. I mean,
no games tonight.
Like you.
At the end of the day, this shit's about money. All right,
it is. It's all it is.
Here's the thing. Okay, look, I went on like Humble Bundle and got the RPG Maker set for like $50, like all of them. Okay, all the stuff, $50. So if I want to make a game, just like a side thing, and I'm not doing it for money or anything, just for my own enjoyment, I can be all, I want this purity. But at the end of the day, these people are out to make money. Okay, they're trying to get paid. All right, there's a reason the Pokemon Company is one of the most profitable companies in the world, not just Japan, in the world. Okay. So,
and to add to what you said, Joel, I'll give an example of I could give multiple examples of games that went awry because of stuff that happened. But it's because you are a younger person. It's called coming to an adult. I don't mean it as a negative pejorative. I'm just saying that if they don't do what I like, I just don't buy it and I move on.
Yeah, you'll get over it. I mean, because here's the thing, okay. There are so many fucking Pokemon games.
I was going to say that. There's so many old games
play other stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's like I told you in my podcast, both of you. Look, listen, Pokemon has not scratched that itch for me for years. But there's other monster catching games that scratch that itch just as well that Pokemon used to. I can go play Dragon Quest Monsters, where I could actually fight alongside my monsters and give them weapons and shit, and then kill stuff. It's great.
And I've been playing Monster Hunter Stories, and I think it's and I like that game as well too, which I just beat it like 2 months ago, and it's a very good game. Now it's on mobile, but that's one thing I'm not playing because I'm not paying no microtransactions for that crap.
Yeah, so
I got it for the 3DS then.
Huh?
Well, I got it for the 3DS.
Yeah, that's why I said I got it.
That's why you got it.
That's why I got it. I got it for the 3DS. I bought the 3DS version because I wanted to play the game. I ain't gonna pay the full price. The same thing with Monster. With what's the other game which I still ain't beat because it's freaking too hard. Whatever. Puzzles and Dragons. I can play it on my phone, but I gotta pay microtransactions or just get the whole game for $30, which that's what I did.
I mean, if you don't like something, look, listen. It's not like the Pokemon Company is sending the Nintendo ninjas to people's houses, kicking down your door with a gun. You buy this shit or else, motherfucker. Yeah, this ain't no after school special. Smoke this shit.
I literally got to, like I said. I'll give example. Two examples. I'll give 2 examples. One, let's go with Call of Duty. When Modern Warfare Call of Duty came up, I liked it. I played it. I bought it. Modern Warfare 2, 3, I got the games. I bought it. Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, like it. Ghost is way changed. And because they changed to some of the stuff, Joel, and I think you understand where I'm coming from, I didn't buy Black Ops 3. I didn't buy Advanced Warfare. I didn't buy all those other games because I just like it going away from single player to multiplayer. They're doing crazy stuff with the setups. I'm like, hey, you know what? I move differently. Same thing could be said for fighting games. I love Capcom. The first is when Versus started with the Street Fighter versus X-Men. Pretty cool, liked it. Then I love Marvel vs. Capcom. Then I love Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which of course I bought it. When I saw Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and the bullshit they started doing, I was like, nope.
But then they won us back with Tatsunoko versus.
Yeah, I did buy Tatsunoko versus Capcom. Yes, I did.
Capcom. That was good.
And but my point is, like I said,
that was the last versus game Capcom put out.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I have my Dreamcast, and I still have my Dreamcast, my GameCube, all this stuff. And like my point to you, and again, this is not me talking down to you, Jules. I'm just saying that I could still go back and play Marvel vs. Capcom on my Dreamcast and still enjoy the hell out of it. I don't got to play Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or Infinity, which I wasn't never going to. I was not going to play those games because it's not what I want. So I go back and play the old games. I think there's enough generations of Pokemon out there that if you think the Pokemon company has gone bad, the Game Freak has gone to the bad side, and if you feel that way, hey, don't support them and just play the old stuff.
Exactly. Because, I mean, here's the thing. Even with all the games that weren't able to be uploaded and downloaded and all that stuff, there's so many different ways to get your gaming fix in today's gaming.
And I'll say this to Nintendo. This is Nintendo. Well, mostly Nintendo and Game Freak. They give you, unlike like we just talked about earlier with the ROMs and stuff. You can buy blue, yellow, and red for your 3DS right now. So you can play older games on your current console and everything. So they have supported the old stuff if you want to go back into that. Now, like I said, I've played the game, and like I said, there's a lot of stuff I like about the game, which is really better than what Pokemon really is, in my opinion. I'm not whatever. But there's some things I understand that got taken out that people love. And I'll say one thing that I do love about the game, that random encounter thing. Thank goodness they took that away. I hated going to Mount Moon and all them damn Zubats.
That's one of the new features from Let's Go that I wish could be implemented in the next hardcore.
Which I think won't happen at all because somebody's not going to think about.
But
hey, all I'm going to say is I like that feature. I'm not going to like it.
But that feature still can be a bit challenging if you're trying to get out of the cave so you can heal.
Well, yeah, it's still
because if anything, it means that you're going to lose frame rates and certain areas.
They won't that. That's not.
I don't think that would cause you to really lose your frame rate because I don't think it's going to affect your frame rate because
it won't affect your frame rate. It doesn't.
When you're thinking about it, you're not going through constant transitions, and that would probably do the same thing.
Yeah,
battling in Let's Go is not the same as it is in a traditional Pokemon game. So
no, it isn't.
To a degree, it kind of is, but not the way.
Similar, but it's not.
But not really.
Not as the features as Jewel would say come to now, but it is more akin to retro back to the red and yellow. This is what you have, the power, whatever, and stuff like that. But I'm just giving out one of the things I did like. The one thing I did like is
I would say that the trainer battles are more or less the same, minus the.
Yeah, those are the same. Those are the same.
Abilities.
But I just didn't like. I played enough yellow and red, yellow, and blue when I was back in my day to a degree that when I had to go to Mount Moon, I was like, "Where's the freaking thing to keep these damn Zubats away from me?" Or the repel. But those things was annoying, and it's good to see a representation on the screen. And the reason, I'll be honest with you, the game that made me love this more was basically Tails. When Tails started doing the representation of scripts like avoid certain monsters, I'm like, I don't feel like whatever. I was like, thank you, because I played enough Final Fantasy, I played enough all other kind of games, and like this is annoying.
Yeah.
But again, that's just me. On the opinion of Pokemon Let's Go.
No, I mean, I think random battles are good for certain things. I think Pokemon back in the day when it was like, like old school random battles are what you had because it was going more for an RPG. I think now the way Pokemon is now, it makes more sense for you to be able to see the Pokemon or general monster. of a representation of an encounter that you.
If you want to keep it like random, do what Tales of Symphonia did.
Yeah,
I like that. It was a
creature.
generic blob.
Yeah.
You didn't see what Pokemon you're gonna fight to keep the suspense, whatever, and then use it. I'm cool with that. So you don't know if it's a Zubat or Clefairy, whatever.
That's what I was gonna say. That if they model and put them on the screen of sorts, then lag on the resources.
I'd be cool with that.
It won't lag on the resources. It will not. That's not how the game is set up. It's just not. That part I'm just letting you know. That's not how the game is set up. That's not how.
Thinking about it, they kind of sort of started experimenting with that anyway with the latter Pokemon games where you can see, like, with special Pokemon where you can sneak up on them.
Yeah, well, again, you saw Mewtwo in the first game when you're like, okay, standing there, so you could do that. So, but I'm just saying, like I said, we'll see. The point is, we'll see what happened next year.
Yeah,
it
I'm
could
basically apathetic about Pokemon.
I got you.
Let's go, because I realize when they introduce this game, it's not for people like me. You know, it's not for like what used to be a core Pokemon gamer. And Pokemon hasn't really scratched that itch for me in years, so I'm not really holding my breath waiting on it.
And again, let's not say okay.
Giovanni.
But let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. That, and again, I understand where you're coming from, Joe. But let's be honest in some things. Okay, it's not, as Red just stated out there. It's not for him, but you know what? A spin-off can turn into a great game. It could be a horrible game,
Metroid Prime,
and it could turn into a great game. Metroid Prime is a good example, as Red just said. It turned out like that. The Versus was spin-off, basically, to have two characters on the screen and attack, and it worked out very well. So it depends on how certain games do their thing. So okay, I think we got that. Let's go to the next topic. Sorry.
Are we going to talk about Sony leaving E3 or?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Give me a second.
You really do blow the surprise. Thank you.
So what I want? What?
Sony always wins, baby.
Anyway, let's go to another thing right here, which I want to show on the screen, and it kind of reflects a little bit of what we're saying, a little bit, not as much. So I want to talk a little bit about, and if this doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Now, I've said many times that people say, okay, the thing that happened with Diablo and everything, and people now getting the backlash, oh, gamers are in town, Now, Triple M did tell me that, because I've said there are gamers not in town, not all of them, of course, but the loudest majority of them speak so much talk about on YouTube, gamers are in town or whatever, and sometimes they get out of hand by, of course, threatening and being assholes to Sakurai and the Bayonetta team, and many and No Man's Sky and all those guys when they feel outraged to go threaten them and stuff, which is stupid, which is dumb. But not knowing that if you do that to your jabronis, you're basically gonna make people not want to make games. I.e., now I do not have that much respect for this person. I mean respect as a person, yes. As a game designer, not really. But I do want to bring up this person because, this happened to him, just like with Sakurai, this happened to him. He was responding to somebody who was being a jerk on him. And if this turns out that he really meant it, well, it is. If he really meant it, then you know what? I can. There you go. You basically ran somebody. If you thought that you would like this person's style of games, you ran him off. Now, again, if you really meant it. It's kind of joshing to response to somebody on Twitter. So there's a Twitter tweet from an old friend. Again, he was not the one who said this, of course, but one person on his team was the idiot person who said that the Switch didn't have enough buttons to play Lawbreakers, which was stupid to say that in the first place.
Well, I mean,
out of no numbers.
It's better for him to say that than to say we don't have the money to port it to the Switch, which was the truth.
Nah, come on, Red. Let's be honest now.
Come on,
buttons. He didn't have enough buttons. That's way more stupider.
That was dumb. But the thing is like you don't want to admit you're going through money problems when you're that you're going through money flow problems when you're in a business, because that's just not.
Okay, yeah, but again, there's better excuses you could say than having that the Switch didn't have enough buttons. It's the same
Yeah,
button
but he
count.
was a developer. He wasn't like
No,
the,
and I,
you know.
Well, no. If you do, I've been to a lot of developing offices. The first thing most developers do, literally, is have the controllers in their hand so they can figure out where to map some buttons and what actions they could do to code it.
Yeah, but who said these people were top tier developers?
Okay, touche. I give you that. Touche.
Read that. That is true. That is true.
These are the same people who are always like Cliff Bleszinski. Look, listen. I have to agree with you. I think Cliff Bleszinski did his best work when he was like way back in the day when he was doing Commander Keen, Jazz Jackrabbit. Like I think that as he basically when he went to Epic and he got the big head. Like over the years, he got kind of arrogant, and that kind of hurt him. But I mean, he still doesn't deserve to get railroaded about that shitty game because they tried, but I mean, it was like everyone was doing a battle royale game. I mean, they should have been doing something themselves. And
well, yes. So now let's get into it. So because I have two more. One of the topics is kind of longish because I want y'all true aspects on it. And then we'll have Sony be the last thing. But so Cliff basically was responding to this person who was being a jerk on the internet. And Cliff Bleszinski said, "I pay my employees. I play the 4K. I play the healthcare even months after the studio folded, so they could take care of their families. I didn't take a salary for 2 years. I get that you're sad, but God, this kind of shit is another reason I'm not making another video game." So people are taking that he's saying that he's not making no more games because that's his tweet that he sent out. It goes further more than that, but I'm just keeping a quick pass over on this one called.
Keeping it.
Huh?
You're keeping it light.
Yeah. It goes deeper than this, but I'm not gonna go into that because it's a lot of stuff. So, but But he was basically responding to somebody just being a jabroni on the daggone Twitter, just like how people was threatening Sakurai with Waluigi and shit, and that's why Sakurai was like, "Oh, you want to be an asshole? Okay, I'll put a damn piranha plant before putting Waluigi, fuckers."
And now people are complaining about the lack of Shadow Isaac from Golden Sun.
And they could suck a butt. They don't care. They don't care. Sakurai do not care.
First of all, look,
had to get that edgy, man.
The only way someone can legitimately say, "How dare they not have Isaac and Felix from Golden Sun?" is if they own Golden Sun 3. Now, if you buy Golden Sun 3 like I did, then you have the right to say some shit. But if you don't, then shut the fuck up.
It's not even that. We have 4 more characters to be revealed. It could be one of them. We do not know. Again,
yeah.
And my point and I've said this to Triple M. Triple M, I understand when me and him was talking just a while ago. There's 4 more characters. I don't care if they put Goku or not Goku. I don't care. It's a game. I look like it. Most of the game looks like it's something I'm gonna play. Someone playing. I don't care what the last 4 characters are.
This is quality gaming, and you're complaining that your character's not in this.
Well, I mean, can't we all agree that the only character who really deserves to be there is Earthworm Jim?
Okay, now you're being.
I mean, well,
okay.
I really want to disagree.
We're not doing the character thing, okay? We're just saying. We ain't doing it, okay? The game comes out. If you don't see a character you like, don't buy the game. Simple. Move on. Other than that, I don't want people. Some of these gamers need to understand that when you do stuff like this, you literally can change a person's view on making video games because they don't want the hassle.
Yeah. Or they make changes to the game to mess with trolls and wind up.
Yeah, I get, and I understand where it's coming from. But my point is still, well, okay. Sakurai aside, and Hideki aside. Hideki don't give a damn.
That's why I like Hideki. That's why Hideki he gives no shits. That's what Cliff Bleszinski needs to do. Look, get Hideki Kamiya to be your Twitter manager. He'll take care of everybody.
Hideki doesn't give a shit. but to be honest, like I said, when I was over in Japan and I saw the emails and some of the tweets that some people have been doing with Platinum when the whole thing with Bayonetta 2, it's like, wow, like you guys are just sick in your head to email people like this. Of course, you would say do this because they don't know in Japan, they don't know who you are in America or in Europe. Some of them mostly was from America, in America, and y'all brave behind a screen. You ain't gonna do
they
that
have
shit
the anonymity of the internet.
Yeah, you would never. I mean, it was some of the most foulest crap if you read it. I read it and I was like, wow, what would make you think to say this to people? Like,
I'm not surprised.
It's not even like, oh, bad. You just threatened. They were to be vague, not to be vague enough because it was detailed. But I saw the stuff. It's like threatening the person bad, threatening the person's family even worse, and telling what they're gonna do to certain families' members. Just like, why would you think of that? But again, this is human beings. They're just human beings are foul creatures in of its own. But doing stuff like that, going back to the main point, you see what Kitko basically said at the end. Can, as Red just say, change to be like, okay, well, hey, fuck it. I got enough money. He does have enough money. Fuck, I don't gotta go back and make it no game.
Who, Cliff Bleszinski?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. People like to talk. Look, listen. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Cliff Bleszinski's later work, but this man has a pedigree. Like, people who like to talk shit about Cliff Bleszinski forget what he and the team he was working with were able to do back in the day. Mm-hmm. They forget Commander King. They forget Jazz Jackrabbit. They forget Quake. Quake was huge. Yep. Quake changed how people played first-person shooters.
I gotta admit that I am a of sorts, but if anything, I facepalm at some of his once.
He previously badmouthed Nintendo in an interview.
Yeah, but again, that might what Red said is true, and again, we could go through a lot of stuff. Like I'll give a quick example right here because I'll move to the next topic. But my point was that Triple M brought up something because everybody's talking about how people from Darksiders were trying to get the demo up for E3, so Nintendo could use it, and Nintendo didn't use it. And again, I felt bad for the people who worked their butt off to get a demo, whatever. But here's the true honesty, and I was telling Trip that. Here's the true honesty. You know how many people did that for Sony Xbox, and you ain't hearing that story?
Exactly.
Like, again, I'm not defending Nintendo. I'm just saying it happened. And also, if they were trying to do this in Nintendo told that, I'll give you an example right here. If this was a game that's going to be exclusive to Nintendo, Darksiders is a third-party game. If this was going to be to Nintendo like a Bayonetta or something, which they did, like Bayonetta 2 had a demo, Nintendo would have done it. But it's a third-party game that you can get in any other console. So it was down on the list. Again, I feel bad for the people who worked hard to get it, to push themselves to get the demo in. That part I feel bad, and Nintendo's in the wrong there. I'm just saying that this is not a one-off.
Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, I mean, it was a port. It's not. I mean, it's kind of like that shit that Blizzard pulled, where they like had this big presentation for a fucking mobile game. Like, I mean, like if you have your, like, Blizzard Day is supposed to be this big thing where they show something big, like they showed off a new expansion for World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
A new, like, you cannot show a fucking mobile game on Blizzard Day. You know?
Yeah, if it was like an iPhone event or something they showed, I don't think people would have been mad about it.
Or you should have
that's the main thing.
Yeah, or you should have been a mobile plus a game. But again, that's where Blizzard Activision read the room wrong and did what they did.
Yeah,
I feel anger because thanks to Triple M, I saw a couple couple of videos of the event itself and see some of the response that they did to on really on stage things.
I love that. I love that quote where he's like, "Hey, everybody has a phone here, right?"
Yeah. I mean, it was literally like they. I mean, I call it the Don from now on the Don Metric moment, where you just say some shit where it's like, did you just say that like out loud on microphone so that everyone can hear you? You know, we have a product for people like that who don't want to be always online. It's called the Xbox 360. like, Jesus fucking Christ.
But here's the thing, though. And I can look. Read what you just said, and it's a down match moment. And the same thing I just said, to correct the joke. Yeah, he didn't read the room to say the mobile 4. I get you. But here's the thing, though. Let's be honest. Was he telling a lie? No. I mean, look,
it's up to you. Know that mobile is a huge platform.
Oh, it's huge.
I mean, and I have nothing against that. It's just the thing is that the roots of Blizzard are on PC. And look, there's nothing wrong. It's like Nintendo has Pokemon Let's Go and Super Mario Run. But if they had a Direct and all they had was fucking Super Mario Run, people would be ready to crucify them, and they'd be
and rightly so. They read the room wrong.
Everyone here has been waiting for the next 2D Mario game. Yeah, but we have it here with Super Mario Run 2. Fuck you.
Well, here's the thing, though. Let's be honest. Let's add an honesty to that as well, too. Diablo 3 started out with the whole microtransaction and the whole loot break thing as well. So it was going downhill from what I saw.
Yeah, and then they got rid of a lot of that. They took it
later on after the fact.
Well, I mean, they did, because the core fan base, which is what you should do when some bullshit's being shown, you don't let them get away with it. The core fan base said, "Wait a second, this is not what this IP is about. Like, this is not what it's supposed to be about." And
I do that.
And that's what you do. Like, you don't accept bullshit. Well, maybe it'll change. No, you fight. You fight.
No, I got you. I'm just saying. No, and I'm not saying that what you're saying is incorrect, right? I'm saying you've seen the downward slide. That's my point.
Oh yeah.
That's what I was pointing out. You're gonna start seeing the downward slide when you're like, oh. Okay, because I played Diablo 2, and I played the 2 different expansions they had, Hellfire and another one I forgot, and I enjoyed the game. And when I saw that the 3 came out, I was like, oh, okay, well, good luck with that. That's it. That's all I said. That's what I said, and I moved on. It just is. And again, if you buy the game right now, and like Red said, yes, they changed it and they took a lot of the microtransactions and stuff like that. That is good. But you, like you just said, you would think, okay, seeing this and seeing what we just went through with Diablo 3, well, maybe we should not. Again, that's reading the room wrong. Maybe we should have a Diablo 4 and a mobile. I'm just saying a facetious thing to say out for Blizzard. But they read the room wrong, and it went with the whole mobile game, and then they stuck their foot through their mouth, and they read it, and they shitted it out to their ass.
Exactly, and that's the sad thing, because, like I said, Blizzard is Blizzard. Like, we're seeing the death of the old guard, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm always like, I don't like seeing the old guard go, because they're the old school people that know how shit used to run. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing them go away. Like, the only old guard left really in consoles is Nintendo, because Microsoft, shit, fuck them. But
keep going, Red.
And Sega hasn't been the old guard for years. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
They're still providing good games once in a while, and I will shout them out because I'm enjoying Valkyrie Chronicles 4.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for putting it on the Switch, Sega. And I went and bought Valkyrie Chronicles 1, even though I got it for PlayStation 2. I went and buy one for my Switch, and I have no problem supporting it, because it was included with all the DLC that you added to it for $19. It's a steal. So I
you know what I'm really waiting on for, though? What I really want coming out this from Namco Bandai, I really want that Tales of Vesperia remaster.
Oh yes, I am getting that.
I didn't steal it, but I borrowed my friend's Xbox, original Xbox 360.
Watch your words, Red. Watch your words.
To play that game, and I was like, man, I just really want to. Except I'm going to get it on PC so I can hack the shit out of it.
No, do what you want to do. If you bought it legally and you have fun with it, go ahead. Me, I'm gonna get it on. I'm gonna get it on the Switch. Let me do a little mini rant here, because I gotta say this, and I'm being entitled. I'll admit my faults. I admit my faults. Namco Bandai, what the frick? I'm trying to get the special edition in Europe just because my IP's in America. I can't buy it. I got the money, motherfucker. Come on.
I want to give you my money, but you just keep on stopping me.
I have no problem. I will spend the money. I want that special edition over there. The one over here? Not really. I want that one.
Well, I mean, it is Namco Bandai, and they are they're 50-50 company.
I gotta use a freaking VPN just so I can get the daggone, just to get this special edition I want. Because basically, I went to the site and it's like, oh, you're in America, we can't get this special edition. I want to pay. I will pay the money. I literally would pay it.
Yeah. Well, going back to Blizzard, you know what's even the worst part I didn't think I'd see something like this happening is the creator of the Diablo franchise, Mike Cern. Chat, if you guys can correct me if that's his name, please do. But yeah, even he saw that what Blizzard pulled at BlizzCon was they should have seen it coming. And the fact,
anybody, even Stevie Wonder saw that. But come on, man.
Well, you have to. Okay, like basically, over the years, the people who had been there for years have been. They've been shuffled off, or they've retired, or they've been moved to other places. And Activision has put people that they control in control.
That's what happened at EA. I can tell you that from this experience.
You wonder why Rare is shit? Because the people who made Rare are gone. Like Rare is just a name. And again, the people who are at Rare now are people that Microsoft hired to work there.
And again, that is the same thing with EA. When I worked at EA, I could tell you that. When I used to work there, I'm like, oh wow, you're going. Oh, this ain't gonna be the same. And I was correct. Because I worked with FIFA and Need for Speed on the Need for Speed game, and I saw the writing on the wall. I'm like, oh, you guys are correct. Well, I'm out too. Fuck this. Because my money and bounce.
Because EA stifles creativity and they destroy profitable IPs, which is really where they kind of fuck up. Because I mean, like they take things that should be like The Sims. The Sims should be this major IP, and it's dead.
Well, a lot of games are major IP. Red is correct because
you know what?
Because what's the other game? The dead game? What was it? Dead Space 3 should have never happened. They should have took that could have been another good franchise. They effed that up.
You know what? Speaking about EA, the whole thing about Command & Conquer being on mobile, I did not know until recently that the same people that created Command & Conquer actually came back to do this mobile version of it. And I'm like, wait a minute. Isn't back in the day the reason why you guys left from EA is because the stuff that they pulled, and now you're back with them again?
I'll tell you. I'll give you an answer. Hungry. No. Konoshi's kind of right. Konoshi's kind of right. The answer is money. It is, and I've said before, and you go go back to my first podcast that I did, the first official endcast, and I said it there, and I meant it. If EA wants me to be in there to do games again, I said it. You're gonna pay me a lot of money. I'm not going back for what you contracted me back in the day. You're gonna pay me a lot of money. I'm not gonna lie. It's honesty. It's literally honesty.
And now the thing about the higher ups taking over the smaller studios, which is technically it's happening again with Blizzard, and it's been happening for months because there's some videos floating around. The co-founder of Blizzard is actually talking about this on video while his wife is playing Path of Exile, which is kind of ironic to play such a game with such a title and something like this is happening, and the co-founder is basically blasting his mind of what is going on.
And Triple, what you just explained to me is basically water's wet and fire's hot. That's what you just explained to me.
So water is wet and the syrup is sticky. And
here's the thing. I'm not surprised that this is happening, but to actually see with my own two eyes in video footage someone from the inside is actually divulging what's going on.
Well, that's why they did the Ubisoft thing. If you want the game to be what it is, you want the game. If you want stop the microtransactions, don't buy it. Like you said, at least he said it out loud, and I give a praise to the man. So
yeah,
that's just what it is. So
and
two
then,
more topics. Yeah, I gotta let.
I haven't ended yet because I wanted to go back to the whole entitled thing. And even though there's one certain YouTuber that's called Pat
the NES says Punk. Yeah.
Yes. I can see where he's coming from. I get that the way he said it is coming off wrong, but he is not wrong. I wish he could have explained more to the people that's actually complaining and still buy it, like we said earlier. Those we have issues with.
Well, again, I've not seen, because I've listened to the story through third hand, so I can't really comment too much on it. I've seen people going against Pat for what he said. I did not read the tweet or whatever, like you stated. So, hey, the answer always comes down to something simple. So, let's talk about. I want two more topics because the last one will be because it'll change between all of us here, and I hope Game Idea is in because I know he will put some answers to the last topic. But before that, yes, let's finish. Let's talk about Sony with the E3 and everything, and get it out the way.
Sony copies Nintendo.
No.
Actually, no. This in this case, they actually took it a step further.
Okay. Okay. I didn't. Okay. Let's just go through this quick. What do you think? What do you think, Andre?
About Sony dropping from E3?
Yeah, Sony dropping from E3.
The same thing that everybody said that we kind of hear in the Nintendo community said anyway. Well, E3 isn't as popular or as important as it was before. When Nintendo decided that they were going to start doing streams instead of live conferences, it's not as big. It's not as important, so it's not as big of a deal. And everybody lost their minds and lost their heads. Oh, Nintendo's irrelevant. Nintendo's going to die. Nintendo, like remember all that conversation? Yep. Nintendo's going under. Then they'll be closing their studios down next year. But yet, Nintendo is still doing fine.
Yeah, right.
And Sony has decided, hey, we're not going to spend all this extra money we don't have to spend.
That's one of the reasons why they did that, but that's not the main reason. But
you know, Andre, keep that in mind. That first time gaming journalists caught a wind of this. Yeah, that spread like wildfire. The second year, it happened again.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Everyone keeps on saying that this shit is about. Look, E3 is increasingly becoming more and more irrelevant. And because if you look back at like the last 5 years at E3s, was there any information that could have been given like in some other format? Really? It's just a waste of money. I mean, I remember that year that Microsoft, the Xbox One was getting its ass kicked by the PS4. And these motherfuckers had the nerve to rent out a hall and drop a Shelby 5.0 Mustang from the ceiling. I'm like, really? You wasted money on that? You people should be putting that money towards games, like putting out first-party games. And so basically, it's that. And I mean, let's keep it real. Sony is working on their next console, okay? And I mean, that means they're probably taking a lot of games that were supposed to come out for the PS4, and they're just shifting them over to the PS5.
They're just going to slide them right on over.
So it makes no sense for them to show off games that are either going to be a parallel release on the PS4, last gas for the PS4, new gas for the PS5, or just shift it over to the PS5. It makes no sense for them to do anything. Like literally, Sony is so far ahead of everybody else. They don't have to do shit. So I mean
that literally okay. They're far ahead in unit sales. And I've always got to point this out because I look at the IR and all this stuff, and like I said, I have contract with them. They're far ahead in the sales. Bravo, Sony. Money wise, you got problems.
Oh yeah.
You got problems. But like I said, I wanted to let people have this saying. Anybody else before I say anything? Anybody else have anything they want to say about that? Kenoshi. Joe.
And I'm betting that Sony's gonna be praise the Lord.
They're gonna be seen as the
listen. The second that this news came out, Sony fans was hitting the what's the pose in Dark Souls? The praise the sun pose. They were hitting that pose hardcore as soon as that news came out for Sony. They were hitting that pose hardcore.
I can't believe I didn't mention about. You go ahead, Brownie.
No, does he mean the T pose?
The T pose?
The praise the sun pose.
Praise the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was it. I can't believe I didn't mention this during the whole Blizzard thing. That about the whole mobile thing. That a lot of these companies are basically hatching their bets toward Asian countries to make profit out of mobile games, which it kind of leads to what Sony is doing, but at least the movie business wise. But you know what? Probably it could not be too far off what Sony is doing. I wouldn't be surprised if they would also go in the whole mobile business for their IP, for handful that they have. So to the people that say that Sony's going out of business, don't be surprised.
Well, they ain't going out of business. No.
Yeah.
Not yet.
But they might have to sell Columbia Pictures.
They have to sell. They have to do certain things. Let's have to sell certain things. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's the best way to explain it. But
if they can get Spider-Man to actually be profitable, they might sell Spider-Man back to Marvel if they really need money.
Yeah.
Quick cash.
Well, I mean, okay, so yeah, so is with that. Anybody else before I say what I gotta say about this and we move on to the last topic? Nope.
Rest in peace, Sony.
Rest in peace, Sony.
Oh yeah, but Roger, with all these things going on, do you think it has some connection with the whole censoring stuff on a platform? No. Oh, and also, did you find out any info about probably you might not want to answer this, and I could understand, but did you find any information why they set up some sort of company? I know it's not their headquarters, but some sort of division in California that now every gaming company has to answer to them, and in English, even the Japanese gaming companies.
It's no. I kind of do, but not enough to give you a full opinion right now. To give you a full answer, I'm not gonna say something I don't understand fully yet. So no, that's the best way. If I don't know it too well, I've gotten some answers. Little is fudgy, and
sorry about that, guys. My computer got blue screened. So
got you. But so it got a little fuzz. It got a little stuff that's fuzzy a little bit. But I don't want. But again, if I don't know certain things, I don't get an answer on, and so I don't want to give a full opinion without having the full back and forth. Is more nuanced than a lot of people think, and that's why I'm like, okay, I see where you're coming from, and I see what that is. But when I find out, I will let people know.
Gotcha. Well, I'm sorry, Pinky Don. Did your PC blue screen on you? Green screen?
Yeah, the blue screen because all this Sony talk.
I know. I know you don't use that joke. So with that said, I was gonna let Pinky Don. You came back in. Now we're talking about Sony and the E3. You have any opinions you want to share before I say what I gotta say?
Well, all I have to say is that either this is a sign that E3 is becoming a dying medium, as we all predicted, or Sony's current position is much worse than we thought. and they're already on their way out of the gaming market because of
no, they're not. No,
they're not on the gaming market.
They're not. They're not. So, but if that's all you have to say, let me say what I got. Let me see what I'm gonna say right now. Okay. Yeah, what Andre said is true, and I've said it earlier that yes, they're gonna kick it towards the PlayStation 5. Oh, before I go into that, and I know people could say something about this, but I want to say that Xbox, Microsoft, again, why you guys keep digging your grave? Okay, the Xbox One did not sell well. Why put a diskless? Why make a diskless Xbox One? Ain't gonna sell well either. Stop. Just stop.
Well, here's the thing. Why even call it an Xbox One?
Because it is an Xbox One X. It is.
Well, here's the thing you people need to understand. Okay,
it's the Xbox One without the D.
The Xbox. The Xbox created. Look, here's what you need to understand about Microsoft. At this point, even though the Xbox has been losing money year over year over year for years and years and years, it's never been profitable. Any console generation it's been in, it's never been profitable. Even now, they're like, it made a profit last year. Overall, it still didn't make any money.
No, what I read the IR page and I put it on. The thing that made them the money was third-party games. Yeah, the console.
Like here's the thing, okay. The Xbox, the reason they're going discless, everyone's like, well, they're looking. Part of it is because this is what they want. They want to control the medium, but also because the Xbox discs, the Xbox One disc uses Blu-ray technology. Every time they sell a console, they have to give $25 or $30.
Wait. I'll put it this way. You're right, Red. Here's the thing, though. At this point, at this console, the Xbox One X is not selling that much. It makes no. Why go and redo?
You're absolutely right. Well, it's about ego. It's here's the thing about Microsoft and the video game industry. This is why people are like, well, I like my Xbox. Good for you. But here's Microsoft, and I'm gonna get a little raw, but fuck it.
Go ahead.
Microsoft is like a dude going to a porn shoot, and they are hung like a flea, as in very small, but they act like they are. They're like the biggest dude in the world. And then you've got other people who actually have a decent sized member and know how to use it. But this dude who's hung like a flea is talking mad shit. But then he pulls down his pants and it's like, you need to get the fuck out of here. You're in the wrong place. And that's Microsoft. They think in their head they are this big, huge, oh, well, we can do anything. The only reason they're big in software is because they have a fucking monopoly. Okay? Any place where Microsoft has had to compete in even in a unequal terms, they suck at. Okay, remember the Zoom?
Yep. You know what, Brett? Even with that example, I would give them credit if they know how to use what they have, even regardless of quality.
They're like Ken. They're like Ken. You know a Ken doll? There's nothing down there. That's
I got you. Let me help Microsoft right here.
Yeah, but hold on. Before you go there, here's the thing. Why couldn't Microsoft just copy what Nintendo did? You know, GameCube, the Wii,
They did.
No. That won't help them in this situation. Here will help them in this situation.
Architecturally, the original Xbox was very similar to the GameCube. They did copy Nintendo, and it still sucked because they didn't have the games.
Got you. Let me help Microsoft in this situation, and it's simple. And you're gonna spend no more money in R&D or changing up the figurines or none of that bull because they're not.
Don't go bankrupt.
I guarantee you what. Okay,
you said you're gonna help them.
I'm gonna help them. Not with money. Here's the thing. If you're going to make a diskless Microsoft Xbox One X, how about you tell the publishers and stuff, don't make a physical copy for the game, and you don't got to worry about making a new SKU.
Yeah.
Simple. You don't gotta change nothing because you're not gonna change. They're not gonna change the architect. They're not gonna change the all that stuff in there. No. Taking the disk drive out ain't gonna really do that much difference. I understand what Red's talking about with that, but all I gotta tell, but it's diskless. So it's basically, and most of the games basically get an install anyway.
It's basically gonna be
why not just say, hey, Capcom, you don't gotta make a physical disc for the Xbox One X, even though the Xbox One X has not sold well.
Or they could go to third parties and say, look, we're releasing this new thing. It's going to be digital only. If you sell your games digitally on this platform, it's digital only. Sell them at $10 less than normally. Like instead of 60, it's 50. But we'll give you the $10 difference. If it's cheaper, people will buy it. Like incentivize people to want to do digital.
I give you that's a good addition to the plan. But my point is, I already have the box. Go out and buy it. I'm not gonna change the internals.
Exactly.
That is so to just and go through all the remanufacturing of it when I already don't have when I already have the yield and the manufacturer set up for it. And again, they should have. Again, I think the Xbox One X should have been their forward into the ninth generation, like the Switch for Nintendo. But they fucked that up, and that's a whole different story. But this is like I said, right now you bought all these studios. It's just weird, okay? Just the Xbox. See, like I said, at first I was like Ray was saying with the film with the Down Magic, and then and I was on Phil's team. I was like, oh, Phil's gonna come in and do. I'm like, well, Phil Spencer is doing stupid shit too. So fuck it, ain't make no difference. Ain't no difference. But I just saying that because they're the one who's saying about Sony's coming out from E3 and then Xbox like, oh, we'll be there with what? They didn't show nothing off too much this year as well either. Because let's look at this. The reason why Sony is not doing this, and it's reflected in the PlayStation Classic as well. They got no games.
Yep. They blew their wad on Spider-Man, really.
Blank.
they were like,
no. They blew their wad on Death Stranding.
That's all I got. Oh, really? Oh, well, see.
It's a blank check. They gave him a blank check.
See, here's the thing. Everyone told all these people who are Hideo Kojima fans, they're like, Konami was wrong. Hideo Kojima is a fucking hack. Okay? He is not as talented as people think he is. His best work, his most creative and best work was done when he was he's like Cliff Bleszinski. He did his best work early in his career because basically as he got older, he just basically leaned on the same shit over and over and over again, which was Metal Gear. Okay?
But now that Metal Gear is out of his hands.
And now he's doing some weird shit with Norman Reedus with a C-section scar and a baby. Charles Dance. I don't know, man.
Speaking of Death Stranding, I'd like to address what Enduo said about game companies not posting enough original games. Well, Death Stranding is an original game because it's not a sequel to anything.
I never said that they can't do that, sir.
Hold on a second. Hideo Kojima is a former film student. All of his games are rip-offs of movies. Like Police Knots is Riggs and Murtaugh in space. What's that other game he did? I forgot what it was, but
Psychonauts?
No.
That's what he did.
No, Police Knots is Hideo Kojima. He did another game that was basically Blade Runner, but it wasn't. Basically everything. All of his early games were just knockoffs of other shit of movies, except it was video game form. There's nothing wrong with that, but he's not original either. So. I mean, I'm guessing Death Stranding is a knockoff of some other movie. So,
but I'll answer. But he talked to me, so I'll answer your question. I got nothing against that. He have a IP. Has the problem where I got with it though is that I know Hideki. I'm not sorry. I keep him because of that. Because of the name Kojima. I've seen what Kojima's done to other people when he was at Konami. And how he did those other developers, and you know what? It's a new IP. You're right, Pinky. Now it's a new IP, and I could say it's a new IP. I welcome it, but I'm thinking because I know how he is. This is gonna backfire in Sony's Sony's spot. If he had kept it respectable and whatever. And again, I'm not against the new IP. I'm just against the way that he look at things. He look at a grand scale in his video game, and you should have that if you want to create art, movies, whatever. You should have,
but he's not a nitty-gritty.
You should have. I have no negativity against that.
But don't blow your budget.
My thing is though, some people does great things with a restriction on them. Majority of people have done.
No.
And Sony gave him a blank check.
and they fucked up right there.
They gave the guy from No Man's Sky a good amount of money as well too, and that did not turn out well for them.
Yeah, but that actually
they
No
had
Man's
to,
Sky.
Wait.
And that was a new IP, so I am not against that. But
yeah,
we gotta when I talk about stuff like this, it has to be like, you know, in a format of like, it got to be successful. And if it is not successful, it's not that the game developer or the company put its foot in their mouth.
Well, I mean, the thing is that No Man's Sky, despite all of its issues, it was bombed because it wasn't what they said. But commercially, it was profitable. It made money. It made a profit above what they put in to make it. Like, this is, and here's the thing, like, you might not like Hello Games, but there's other games that they made before they did No Man's Sky that were also profitable, like Action Hank, which is, you know, kind of a shitty little indie game, but it made money. But here's Hideo Kojima, who was notorious for going over his budget and making these big fucking grandiose games, and he's a fucking prima donna, and, you know, he snipes at other developers. I mean, look what he did to Igarashi over there at Konami. I mean, like,
he fucking killed Castlevania.
And people told, and not only did he kill Castlevania, it's not that he just pulled money from projects to make new ones. It's basically he took the baby and then gave it to those assholes over at Mercury Steam who fucked it up with Lords of Shadow. So basically, it's like taking someone's baby and giving it to a wolf and say, tear this baby apart and kill it. And they did that. I mean, like, and they gave this man a blank check. They gave Hideo Kojima a blank check. And here's the thing. You might not like Konami. I know people are like, I can't stand what they do to Konami. Look, Konami has
I'm
fired
already
other
sour
people.
Konami in two ways.
Konami has fired other people, and they didn't go after them the way they went after Kojima. When someone has a visceral negative response against someone like that, there's some shit went on there. That's not just, oh, we're mean, we don't like them. Okay, because they didn't do that to Igarashi. He just left. They gave him a nice letter. He went and did something else. It's no bullshit. Think about that.
Yeah.
Isn't that odd that another high-profile developer that they had left and they didn't go after him like that, but this other motherfucker who was like losing them millions of dollars, they went after tooth and nail to the point where they wouldn't even let him get health insurance for his new studio.
Yeah, and let's be honest. And let's be honest to that. The last game that he did, Metal Gear Solid 5, was not a success.
Nope,
that failed. I mean, commercially, everybody likes it, but business-wise, they made his money back.
Yeah, and even when they did the re-release, that bombed too. So, I mean, people need to stop with all this. I mean, I know there's a lot of Hideo Kojima fans. I love Hideo Kojima.
And that's good for you to be
and
like
that's good for you. But, I mean, commercially, his games are not commercially successful.
So, but my point of saying with Sony, like I said, going back to that, to go to the last thing and finish that up, is that they didn't really have that much games to come out with. That's Sony. They're gonna push games to the PlayStation 5, as Red said, and I said the same thing too. And most of you guys have said it on Google Plus, whatever. That as well too. But let's really look at this though. This year, everybody's talking about, you know, what's going on, right? Sony had multi-packs. If you want to say exclusive this year for Sony, you had Spider-Man. You had God of War. You got God of War. You had Detroit.
Detroit Becomes Human.
Becomes Human.
I'm surprised that Detroit has only had one nomination for the VGA.
And that's another topic for another day because it's getting late. So I want to do that, but we be talking too much, so I'll leave that alone. And that's mostly it that came from Sony as an exclusive. That's it. Most of the games, and don't get me wrong, there are cool games on Sony PlayStation to play that came out this year as well too. But as Rev would tell you, and he's the first person who would tell you this, I could get them on PC. So
yeah,
I mean, you got the Yakuza, you got You got Ni no Kuni.
It's the problem with multiplats is that, I mean, like, you aren't the only game in town. I can get a hamburger in a lot of places.
Exactly.
Which
Exactly.
Which is kind of wondered that there was at least one YouTuber that had to backpedal about the negativity of exclusivity.
Well, they go backpedal all they want, but look, the number one releasing game they're gonna have next year, of course, is coming out, is Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's a third party.
And that's not an exclusive because that's going to be on other platforms too.
That's why I say that. They don't have no games. And again, remember, a lot of when people was angry with Nintendo 2015, I did a video about this, 2 of them to be exact. Most of the games that they announced in 2015 didn't came out. Some didn't even come out at all. Some didn't come out till 2 years later, and some has been straight out canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that Sony has not. Like people always look. The money in video games has always been software. Like you need software.
And that is true. And don't get me wrong, Sony and Microsoft has got enough money from those, because again, I literally read off the IR pages, and it's like I've said it before. When I came on this platform and talk about the money and all that stuff like I did, nobody was really talking about that much. Red, I give respect for you because you did it in the way of budgeting and what you talk about, but like I went a little deeper. And when I was doing that, now you see people doing the whole, let's go to Nintendo's IR pages. Well, why don't you go to Sony? Why don't you go to Microsoft and talk about their shit? Oh, you don't. And you barely touch on Nintendo's. You read it from third party who already done summarize stuff, but you don't dig deep to find the real shit, the real nuggets that's important. If you're gonna talk, my point is, if you're gonna talk about it, talk about it. If you're not, shut the fuck up. That's just the way I am. The way it is, because Microsoft, like I said, when I talk about Microsoft, they made majority of the money they made for their year of 2017 was third-party games, not their consoles, not their online, third-party games.
Yeah,
that's what they make their money here. That's what saved them. And here's the funny part: as big as Microsoft is, as much money as they could make, and as much more consoles they have than the Wii U and the Switch and all that stuff, as we all talked about, they made in that same time, as I said before, they made $14 billion. That's what they made with all that stuff. Nintendo made 30. Big difference.
And Nintendo only does video games. Like, that's all they do. They just
and I'm talking about the Microsoft gaming division itself. I did a video about it. You go back and check it out. But I'm just giving an example of all that stuff, and it did that. And they have more consoles out there than Nintendo, more SKUs, and third parties. The big thing, everybody, let's go buy third parties games. When Nintendo had a Switch and a 3DS, and it was mostly Switch last in 2017. Doubled what Microsoft did with less software, with less software library, less consoles. Let's call a spade, and the truth. That's what it is.
Yep.
So with that said, Sony didn't have that much. They ain't got nothing really to put out, so that's why they're backing out. Because here's the thing: if they had something to put out, they could say, "Okay, we're not gonna do E3," but they said also we're not doing an Sony experience.
So they ain't got
nothing.
Yeah. They're like someone at the poker table looks at their cards and say, "Well, I fold."
Exactly. Go ahead, Joel.
I was saying, wouldn't that mean that Nintendo's been the only one that's been at some shape or form?
No, they weren't, because Nintendo doesn't have a press conference. They have a direct. They don't even. They're not. That's what YouTubers. That's what YouTubers say. They don't have an event. They just have a direct, so it doesn't count. So Nintendo, the only one who's been there is Microsoft, and they suck. So.
Even though you can still have the treehouse and find out more information than anything else.
Yeah,
but I digress.
Nintendo always has something else going on. That's why people could appreciate them.
Yeah.
I digress. So with that said, this is basically, I'm gonna go one by one, and if you agree with the person because you want to talk about certain stuff, Okay, so respectfully, I want to talk about something that did affect gaming and other genres, of course. So, R.I.P. to Stan Lee for what he has done in modern pop culture. The creator, he passed away at 95 last week, but he also affected gaming because some of his characters became some great games that people got their hands on and developed. So what I want to ask you guys. So Andrea, I'll let you start off first. What was some? I mean, again, you might not get all of it, but a couple, maybe 2 or 3, or maybe five at the most. Let's say five at the most. What was some of the games that Stan Lee inspired a lot of characters? We know that, but go with that. What was some of the games that that you love the most? That was inspired by Stan Lee, by his characters, whatever that you enjoyed over the years.
Well, shit. Well, first thing is easy enough to say is the original 3D Spider-Man games, the ones that came out on
GameCube.
Not GameCube.
You mean the
N64, Dreamcast,
PS1,
N64, Dreamcast, and PS1.
N64. Those were really good games.
Yeah. Those Spider-Man games, the Spider-Man and then Spider-Man 2 Enter the Electro, because that was only on PlayStation.
Okay.
Nice.
Obviously, the Marvel games that were put out by Capcom originally, because a lot of those characters were from Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Mm-hmm.
I got so much stuff. It's a catalog to think about.
I know. That's why I said. That's why I said five.
It's a huge catalog to think about. But the Spider-Man, the Marvel games up to before Marvel's Capcom 3 came out. Shoot, I would say Blade, but I don't think Blade was the Stan Lee creation. But then again, Blade was also in Spider-Man, so there's a whole lot of stuff that was going on with Spider-Man. With Blade, I mean. Shoot. Because now, this is getting me to draw a blank, because I played so much stuff with characters that he created in it.
Okay.
Shoot.
Well, I'll give a person who got a library. If you think anything else pop up in your mind, maybe Red could say stuff. Red, go ahead.
The bad thing is, I have a feeling people are probably going to mention stuff. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I got you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I like already the Spider-Man games, especially the first one I played, which was the 5th gen one on the N64. Great. Stan Lee, watching the cartoon from the 60s where he did the voiceover. Spider-Man with his amazing friends.
Yeah.
And also, if you play Lego Marvel, which in my opinion is the best one, it's the one for the 7th gen games. He's actually a playable character where he has everyone else's powers, which makes sense because he created half of them.
That's also the new Spider-Man game right now. So they have him as a part where he has Spider-Man's powers.
Yeah, and
he go around Stan Lee.
He's ridiculous. Stan the Man Lee will miss you. Also, if you get a chance, I think they have it on Twitter. You can go look up his soapbox from 1968, which was during the height of the civil rights movement when all of these civil rights leaders were assassinated. It's a really good article if you get a chance to read it. So the man was, he was cool. He was the cool, kind of weird uncle that had the really cool stories. And was kind of weird, and true believer, Excelsior.
Anybody? Before I go, any other games that you could, Joel, Kenoshi, Strip?
Well, I got 2.
Okay.
The only games that I've played, and heck, they're all Spider-Man, technically. But yeah, there was one Spider-Man game on the Game Boy, and that was my first time playing a Marvel game. I have to admit, it wasn't the very best. Come to find out that there's more than just that Spider-Man game on the Game Boy, but I digress. Then, well, the good old, I wish Sprite was here. He would be very happy with this, but the good old Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Okay, yep.
I think most can agree with that.
Yeah, most agree with that. How about the rest of you guys? Kenoshi, PewDiePie,
Spider-Man 1 and 2, Hulk Ultimate Destruction.
Yeah.
Oh, that game is so good.
Yeah.
See, I knew it was something I was trying to think of.
The version of that Spider-Man game, as well as the GameCube version of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie.
Spider-Man 2. That's a good one.
The original Spider-Man.
Original Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. I like those two games. Yeah.
Did anybody ever play the Spider-Man for the 64? Because I played that one too.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that I have.
Oh yeah, and
that's a good one.
As well as the Spider-Man arcade game.
There's an arcade game.
Beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then they made a
Well, you got, and then no,
Venom for me.
I've never played this one, but they made a Spider-Man for the Atari like eons ago.
Yeah, I've seen that one. That's kind of rough.
It's pretty bad.
All right, well,
Let's put it lightly.
And there's Spider-Man Friend or Foe for the Wii.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's not quite as good as Web of Shadows, but it's okay.
All right. And you said you want to say something, game idea?
Yeah, I was trying to avoid going with a bunch of Spider-Man, X-Men stuff, but I mean, that's most of the stuff I played anyway. So, like, there was also Marvel Superheroes and X-Men Mutant Apocalypse. Marvel Superheroes War Gems and X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, both of them Super Nintendo games.
Yeah.
I still had both of them.
Those were really
good back then.
Mm-hmm.
I count those as one because it's basically the same engine, but just with different characters. Then there were the Genesis X-Men games and Spider-Man games. And then the one that had Spider-Man and X-Men together in Arcade's Revenge, which was an old game. I wish they'd remake it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of history with all that stuff that they had back then.
Well, isn't
all that
Spider-Man
stuff that
technically
Stan Lee inspired.
X-Men?
He was at one point, but I believe in the comics, but it wasn't really all that long lived. And Spider-Man's one of the first characters in video games before a lot of other actual video game icons.
Yep.
That's something to think about.
Well, there's a reason he's like I think he's like the second most popular comic book character. Like number one's Batman, number two used to be Superman, and now it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because Henry Cavill stunk him.
But
come on, Red.
Okay, so I'll go through my list here. Since this is my podcast, I'm gonna go through my list, and you guys, because maybe you guys remember some, maybe not. So for me, like Triple M, I don't know if you said he had difference. Let me double check before I say anything. I want to maybe there were two different games, like you said, because being that I was back in a different country, I didn't know this, so let me double check something. Let me type it up.
That's Spider-Man for the Game Boy. That was the first time I've seen it, and it was from
Ultra.
A classmate of mine, so really back in the day.
And it was a JLN game, so we wasn't exactly.
It could probably well be. This is why it was kind of.
Yeah, that's why I'm checking to see if there was if there were two different kind of Spider-Man games other than that. And it is a JLN game, like you said. No, I only see one, but I could be wrong. I'm looking right now.
Well, there was like three of them, but
You're right. You are right. Yeah, but this is Amazing Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. There are three. You're right. You're correct.
And they were all just JLN was.
Yeah, but I played the first one. That's the one I remember. The Amazing Spider-Man on thing. So I played that first. That was made. It was JLN was the publisher, but the first one was made by Rare.
Yeah. Except back then they were called Ultra, which
So. So that was my first game into a game that I thought of. That was a game. So Spider-Man is what I got for my game. That was the first game I got for my game what I bought, not played, but the first game I ever bought that I owned my own. That's Spider-Man. At that time, that's when a hurricane had hit St. Thomas where I was living at, and you wasn't picky of what you could get. So hell, take what you get because we didn't have power for 6 months. So it is what it is. So that was one of the games. Another game that I liked was the Avengers game, which was a beat 'em up on Super Nintendo. That was a game that I had fun with a lot. Enjoyed.
I was this close to playing. I was this close to playing that game, but I guess it wasn't meant to be.
Got you. That was a game that I enjoyed. Another game that I enjoyed was The Child of Apocalypse, which was on the Genesis, which was X-Men. I rented that game many times on the Genesis. Enjoyed that as well too. It was Cyclops, Wolverine, and Nightcrawler. It was just like 3 characters you could use, nothing more. So that was a pretty good game as well too. Another game that I enjoyed on the Super Nintendo was, and it's still one of my favorites, technically speaking, Maximum Carnage.
Maximum Carnage,
actually bad.
I like that game.
It's a little rough, but I mean, once you get used to it, it's not that bad.
It was
separation anxiety is a little bit better, but
no, Maximum Carnage is
same. No, they're the same game engine style. Separation anxiety changes up the art style a little bit.
It's like, here's the thing: if you like, once you get used to its proclivities, like how enemies swarm you and how they do way more damage to you than really should be possible for the characters.
Yeah.
Like, once you get past that, it's actually a pretty good game because it's cool how you can switch the characters and how they have their own, like, depending on it, like, once you figure out you can switch characters, you get different endings depending on who you beat the game as, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yep. And they had their own powers and all that stuff again. And I know what you're talking about. And Red is correct about the whole power and stuff like that. Because you find regular people. But again, at the time, we know back then, beat 'em ups were the kings of the genre at the time. So they were.
I mean, plus Maximum Carnage actually had a pretty decent soundtrack to it.
Oh yeah, it did.
You walking down the street and that song playing, you bashing dudes' faces in.
Yeah, and there was back in this day. Like I said, back in those days, they didn't really care about argument. They didn't care about, like, we didn't have the PC culture we had we have now compared to then. Because I'll show you a scene right now from the game, which is like, wow, people would be. And again, we have grotesque games now, but people are more antsier now with certain things because. Carnage because they did a good job of showing how Carnage is crazy in this game, in my opinion. Because here's a scene from the game right there. What he was doing to Venom, to Eddie Brock.
I mean, like, in the opening of the game, like, if you play as Spider-Man, is Venom gets the shit kicked out of him and fall, like, he's like, Carnage just beat his ass and he's like, I fucked up. Yeah, you did.
So, but I'm just giving an example of that. And of course, most people have said it. Yes, the Hulk game I played, very likable, of course, like also the Spider-Man movie 1-2 on GameCube. Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 1 and 2. That's 1 and 2, of course. And then another game that I liked that was a beat 'em up that I enjoyed was the Marvel Alliance, the Ultimate Alliance games. It was like the top, kind of like a isometric look.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Ultimate Alliance and X-Men Mutant Apocalypse.
Yep, you had those games. That's pretty cool. And then also and like I said, the new Spider-Man. Now you have that couple. The X-Men game, the Wolverine game was pretty. I enjoyed it. The Wolverine game that they did by themselves. It was just Wolverine just basically killing people like crazy, and he was, holy crap, that was just violent. But like I said. Sadly, he basically put a lot of like I said, he did a lot of
a lot of heart into what he made, video games.
Well, he put a lot into the characters, and that's why I respect
he put a lot of heart into the mind. He put a lot of heart and mind into the characters and their personalities and stuff, and making them identifiable for people.
Yes, and I like that he has my respect for other cases, but I'm not gonna say it here. But I thank the man for, you know what? It's sad that he passed away. But it was in there. It was 15. It was he was 95 years old. And I wish his last year was a little better. His last year on this planet was a little bit better for what happened. But again. That's just core to par of how things work. Some people, you want to be famous. Hey, sometimes fame is just not enough. But like Red Fox says, Excelsior, thank you for what you have done. There's a lot of people who enjoy what you've created, just like Iwata and Miyamoto and Gunpei Yokoi, like they're contributed to make people happy, and I have nothing against that in that regard. So with that said, I want to thank everybody for joining in. I mean, the comment section, I didn't on the chat. Thank you guys for coming in. I know
Speaking about the comment section, might as well give claps to Jack Gates because he is going far out when we were on Sony's case, or should I say, Kojima's case.
Yep.
But but Melvin did brought up a question. Whatever happened to Dreams of that game?
Cancel.
Oh,
it got shelved.
It got canceled. I talked about it. I did say that in a podcast. I can't remember.
Or Square Enix's Avengers game. Is that still in development? Or is that?
I don't know about that. I know Dreams got canceled.
Yeah,
Dreams got canceled. So, I'll give it to that. But I want to thank Mailman. Jack Gates, like you just said, Jack Gates, Ye Yao, all Trelly 3, and the lazy one for in the chat for and others, of course, because half of y'all are in here now, so you can say what you have to say and everything else. Sprite, thank y'all. Red Fox is bounced out, and like I said, I think it's time to call it because it went. I mean, it was an endcast, and this is basically. Guys, whoever listens to this later on, this used to be what Endcast used to be like. It used to be topics, and we just go straight. Now, random talk, we just talk about any kind of crap. But that's why I had to rechange it to say, nah, let's keep it, because I did have topics I wanted to talk about. So, with that said, I want to, again, you can check out, of course, Pinky Don and Jewel at Red Fox's BS Busters on his channel. Sometimes you catch Triple M there, you catch him here at my spot. Kanoshi has his own channel you can go check out, the Owlers, where you get, including late night if you like late night stuff. I'm there some of the time, and we talk about all kind of crap. So it's basically like a random talk. So hell, you could check that out as well too. And he got gameplay and stuff. Sprite does gameplay, and of course, Game Idea guy. Well, he has many things he does, but check out his channel. He has ideas. Some of them are. I like the situation he's doing now with what ifs. Basically, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What if Sega did not rush the Sega Saturn?
I think that was probably my best thought out one so far.
Yeah.
You went all sides with that one. But
not only that, you also get game ideas. Of course, ideas that people not been used. That's what his original name was. When like I said, I was laughing that when I finally got the GVG and you down, he changed his name to the Game Idea guy, like you bastard. But I'll let it go. But you have like I said, you have that. You have Why We Don't Game. You have his ideas, and you have his short little videos where he does kind of like showing you, talking about topics of whatever. So you can check it out, and also his Let's Plays where he has with his kid. Pretty cool, pretty charming. I like those. You can check this out. His channel is not just simple stuff. There's a lot of multi stuff in there. With that said, also check out, I did a video earlier today, a mic check, where the helmet had to be on. The helmet had to be on.
Anything you were out, Gundam?
Yes. That's the one about Gundam. Like I said, I like the guy. I will still watch his content, but my point is, I could disagree with you, and I have no problem disagreeing with you. But when you say something that makes no sense, I can't hold my tongue back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. He said some crazy stuff in that video. That's why I did that video. That was crazy. You said the reason, and just to give a quick note, he said the reason he's not a Nintendo fan because Nintendo used a lot of money to hype up the Zelda Twilight Princess on the GameCube, but then they changed it to put it on the Wii, and he was like, "Oh, now I gotta buy a new console to play the game." No, because it came out
it
1 month
came
later.
Out on the GameCube.
1 month later,
and it's not like they didn't say that was happening. They did.
Does he have Sonic the Hedgehog in his jeans?
I'm just saying. That was when he said that. That was basically a crack in the helmet. And it's funny at the end of which you could go check the video, his video. I didn't play it in my response because I couldn't find the stamp. in the later part of the game or the video, he said gamers right now are too impatient. They always want instant gratification. I'm like, well, you could have waited to play Zelda. So
and that's when I say a distinction without a difference.
What? How can you do? People not listen to their videos? They always say that. They say it with Rob the Review. Say to anybody that do a mic check or LBC on. Did they not listen to their videos when they record them? I swear sometimes they don't. They don't. They think they have a stream of conscience thinking. Some people could do it very well. I give shout outs to you, Game Idea. You can pull it off just as well as I. To the that would be stupid to say that in mid thought. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's wrong. Let me rephrase myself.
Because you think about it, like, hold on, I just said this. That doesn't make.
Yeah, exactly. But for you,
they got goldfish memory.
Well,
actually, no worse than goldfish.
Remember I told the story about what Microsoft did with their survey report. They found out average people in America cannot keep their memory for less than a goldfish. Because your goldfish is 7 seconds. So goddamn, that's not a memory. The attention. I'm sorry, attention, not memory. Attention.
Attention span.
Yeah, which is sad. But yeah, again, if anybody out there, if you're gonna do videos and you're gonna do a rebuttal, like kind of like I do, and sometimes Game Idea does it for specific topic. He's more or less he's less than I do because I literally listen to people and like, you do whatever. Because I do it two ways. If I see the video like I did with Gundam, I let it play because I got an understandable response. But there's some videos that people do share to me, and I don't listen to them at all. And I play it, and I'm like, well, that's wrong, and that's wrong. And well, if that's the case, then this. And then, of course, when you play the end of the video, they say the same thing. I'm like, so why didn't you even do this video?
Are you talking about that Adam Neely video I shared you?
No. I'm talking about the original video where the helmet cracking came from, which was Nintendo Prime. That's one of the examples.
Oh, Nintendo Prime. That guy is yet another pretendo.
That one was when he did a video talking about why Nintendo don't do blah blah blah, and he went on talking about I got a PC and blah blah blah, but I have this, and then I was like, then it makes no sense to do this video. And at the end of the video, close to the end, he's like, well, I don't know why I'm doing this. Basically, this really doesn't make no sense to be done. I'm like, exactly. None of the stuff you were saying before was making any sense. Or like I did with the two Nintendo Metroid videos that I was rebutting, I agree with some of the stuff they said. But when I was like, and Triple M knows it because you can go back to the chat and saw when I was like, the guy was like, oh, Metroid Return of Samus. So I'm like, isn't this a remake? So why? And he's like, yeah, this is a remake. I'm like, so why even bring that up? Why you guys do that?
It's a good thing that Nintendo Prime's followers are now calling him out on complaining about the Smash, how the last Smash Direct is considered greedy for Nintendo by his standards.
Well, that's yeah, and he's greedy for making. It's greedy for him to make money off of YouTube using other people's stuff. Let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that.
Look, my point is, people do send me videos like Ping and just said, oh, Fluid 21 or whatever, and sometimes I go in, I do it live and I do it live and blind, and I could see I could see where their falls just break apart. So that's the way. Like I said, I do two videos like that's my two different styles when I'm doing debates. When I do response video, one's where I already saw the video, I'm like, okay, I can answer that question, or some that I go blind and I just like, wow, it's how people not see the logic of this is not making no sense. You go, and my point is, you go to those videos, you got a lot of thumbs up and not a negative because the fans are whatever. But I'm like, even I can say I like certain stuff, but if you say something that stupid, I'm like, nah, I can't. Another great example, of course, is the one I did on Commonwealth with Nintendo about third parties.
Oh my gosh.
Commonwealth.
See, all these guys know what they're saying. I went to that, I did that one blind, and I cut it all off, and of course, 2 weeks later they have to redo a different video stating that that's kind of wrong. Or I was like, exactly. Or
there's also another YouTuber you should check out that will make you face palm.
Well, I don't. I try my best to see my brain cells, son. That's why it's called LBC. Or the most famous one that I've okay, because a lot of people are like, I don't put out a production in my videos. I get it. I'm not making money off of this. Sorry, I ain't. I do this for fun and to get out my game and stuff, whatever. The one I did put production in, and it took freaking 5 hours to edit a freaking 45-minute video, and that's one of the reasons I ain't doing it no more. Of course, the most famous one is the 3DS dying. When I had the trailer, I did a trailer about it and a 45-minute video when I had Mr. T, Terrell, RGT85, IGN, and the Dreamcast guy, which basically did hurt my brain when he said that one part that hurt my head. Oh, that literally hurt my.
You mean how he stopped playing on his 3DS?
Rampant on him.
No, it's what he said. Because remember what he said. He said, "This is irrelevant. This is why are you doing this? Put this thing away." But you're still playing your PlayStation Vita, which is way. I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "My head."
Let me put some BS in it.
My head hurt when he said that. I was like, "You can't tell." And I did that one. Like I said, I listened to it and went straight. And again, remember in that video, he contradicted his damn self at the beginning, saying that I know why Nintendo's doing this to making money, whatever. But the whole rest of the video, which once you do that, it makes no sense to even do the whole rest of the video, because he was like, "Oh, I know what Nintendo's doing is for money, it's for this, and the 3DS is selling." And I was like, "Yeah, it's selling." And then he goes back and say, "Nintendo, this is crazy. This is wrong. It's not making no sense. Nintendo, look at me. I am the captain. Stop this." I'm like, I thought you said they're making money, so why would it stop? I was like, you moron. So that's what LBC and Mike Checks are about. Other stuff, I do other stuff on this channel. But again, check out the Mike Check I did earlier, because again, it was kind of a little brain fartish a little bit with what people were saying in that video. But with that said, check out Game Ideas channel. Again, Red Fox, Kenoshi, everybody else out there. I am trying to do something. I hope a video I'll post up. I hope 2 videos ready. Hope I could post it up. I want to, but again, next week is Thanksgiving. I mean, this week coming up is Thanksgiving. There's a lot of people busy and everything, but we'll see what happens. But with that said, thank you guys for joining us on the Endcast. It's been a long time.
One more thing. If Spider-Man plays anything like Sunset Overdrive, it's a masterpiece. This has to be one of the best.
Well, Andre could tell you, Andre they don't play the same, no, but it is a good game. It is a good game. Sunset Overdrive is one of the games I said.
Yes,
Xbox,
it is.
I love it.
It's an amazing game.
It is the first open world game where I actually care about doing the side missions. I don't play a lot of open world where I actually care about doing the side missions.
Got you.
But yeah, this whole game has character. And you don't.
It has exactly, and that's what.
That a lot.
And the thing about it, if Xbox fans had bought that game, we could have a 2. It would have stayed an exclusive, which I have no problem with that. But it would have been it could have been a 2.
Yep. Hey man, there may be a 2. I mean, it's on Steam for $20 now, so there may be a 2 eventually.
Oh no! Okay, there could be a 2, but it ain't gonna be exclusive.
It ain't gonna be exclusive, no.
because in Zombiac said at the beginning, after it didn't bomb, and again, one of their headquarters is in my backyard, and I go there once in a while, talk to the guys. They said, but at the time they said the next game we make, we're not gonna make it exclusive.
Nope.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, this is one of the best. This is one of the best games that come out in the last.
And for anybody out there, it is on PC right now, so you can go if you have a PC, go ahead and pick it up.
On Steam for $20.
Yeah, go ahead and enjoy the game. Go ahead and enjoy the game. Yeah.
It's definitely worth more money than that, but it's for $20 on Steam.
Well, it's like for me, Valkyrie Chronicles 1 on the Switch. It's freaking, like I said, to have all the DLC stuff on there that I have right now and everything for $20, that's pretty damn good for a deal. That's pretty good for a deal. And again, shout outs for the game. For me, a game I picked up last week, which I showed you guys. Give me Astra Breed. Shout out to that game. That is my sister watched me play that. And again, that's a fun. I like shoot 'em ups. And I give I forgot the name of the developer of that game, but I might do a review on that game myself too. I know reviews is not my best thing on this channel. I say that because I'm so busy, but that's one of the first Smurfs I played in a while that is fun. It shows. It also shows that you can evolve a Smurf. That you can evolve a shooter, because. That I know of. Again, anybody, Andre, you're old. You are not old. Sorry, I was gonna say you are an eclectic game player like I am, and everybody else here, they have limited compared to me and you. But that's the only shooter I've seen. I mean, the only game that's close to that, of course, is Sin and Punishment.
Yeah.
But I have never seen a game that switches from side shoot 'em up to third person, then to top down, and it does it really good, seamlessly, very nicely. And then shout out to the developers for giving us the control. Make sure again, I don't think it's worth the $19. I think it's worth $13 if I have to be honest. But because they put in the option to change the buttons, because they didn't, you're gonna go with the original button setup they had. But they changed it that you could change the buttons. Yeah, that's where I think the extra $6 go to, and I'm cool with that. Thank you, because ain't no way at Triple M. When I told Triple M how you got to play this game, the way they set it up, I was like, this will be shitty. No freaking way. So,
when I actually had to hold a controller the way that he described, I'm like, yeah, I can't do this.
No, so I'm happy that they get the developers who took the time to give you, and Andre said this many times, how to give you options to play game, the way options. I have no problem with people getting more options. Thank you for doing that. All right. So with that said, thank you guys for this night. Like I said, enjoy the Endcast. If you ain't doing nothing else before that, have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy with your family and friends. Eat some turkey. Play some games after that. And enjoy the games you have. And that's why I always said there's no perfect games out there. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy your games on all consoles, even PC. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Peace out, people.